Zencash features global governance with inclusive decision-making, reliable funding for continuous improvements, and documentation and wallets in many languages that are available for Linux, Mac, Windows, and Android devices. Learn more at zencash.com. That's zencash.com.
UPI reports hundreds of marchers across the United States on Saturday drew thousands of protesters demanding the Trump administration reunite families separated at the U.S.-Mexico border. In cities from New York to Los Angeles and conservative strongholds across the Deep South, Families Belong Together rallies drew people from both sides of the issue to more than 700 marches scheduled throughout the country. Political and public outcry against the Trump administration's policies of separating parents from children upon arrest prompted the president to sign an executive order last week, saying parents and children would be kept together in detention. Administration officials have offered different explanations for how the policy would be implemented and how and when all approximately 2,300 children would be reunited with parents. Sunday's events were a call to President Trump to reunite the families immediately, cease family detention, and reverse the administration's zero-tolerance border-crossing policy, according to organizers. A statement from Families Belong Together obtained by NBC News said parents should not be criminally prosecuted for doing what all parents do, which is to bring their children to safety. This horrible nightmare for families will end only when the Trump administration permanently stops his 100% prosecution policy. In New York City, about 30,000 people showed up for a march across the Brooklyn Bridge, chanting, "Immigrants built this bridge." Sweltering heat did not deter thousands gathered at the White House for one of the day's largest protests, which included many wearing white for the cause and carrying signs that read, "What's next? Concentration camps," and "I care. Do you?" in reference to a jacket First Lady Melania Trump recently wore on a trip to visit child migrants. Civil rights icon John Lewis of Georgia joined demonstrators in Atlanta and drew parallels between Saturday's protest and the anti-segregation rallies in the 1960s. Lewis said, "As a nation and a people, we can do better. Don't give up. Don't give in. Keep marching." During the rallies, the president tweeted about the current immigration laws, saying, "When people come into our country illegally, we must immediately escort them back without going through years of legal maneuvering. Our laws are the dumbest anywhere in the world. Republicans want strong borders and no crime. Dems want open borders and are weak on crime." Counter-protesters showed up at many rallies, including Washington, Phoenix, and Boston, and carried Trump flags and shouted, "Build that wall." In Alabama, one counter-protester was taken into custody after pulling a gun in Huntsville. No shots were fired and no injuries were reported, according to police. Police say the man pulled the gun when he got into a verbal confrontation with a protester.
You can support FPP Radio by joining the Fans program. Fans are friends, allies, and numerous supporters. You can join the Fans program for as little as $1 per month through Patreon and get perks like ad-free versions of FPP Radio News and Peace, Love, Liberty Radio. To learn more or to join the Fans program, visit fans.fppradio.com.
This has been FPP Radio News. Online at fppradio.com.
Researchers have definitively concluded that all of it, is some kind of sick joke. The Princeton study suggests that the entirety of existence, including time, marriage, migratory patterns of birds, continental drift, life itself, photosynthesis, human society, and the changing of the seasons, are all part of a massive twisted ruse orchestrated by a spiteful cosmos.
Look at you morons, taking this stupid video for your pointless newspaper. Everything's a joke. I'm a joke, you're a joke, the whole universe is a joke.
We at the Onion Week in Review are compelled to inform viewers that while this entire segment is indeed one small part of the giant perverse joke, the upshot is that the next minute of your life will be no more or less pointless than if you were to spend it with a loved one, mentoring an at-risk youth, or simply wallowing in your own feculence. In other news, Harley Davidson and Jack Daniels collaborate on a local felony. A churchgoer blanks on why she's lighting a votive candle. And please ring the bell and the boy will come round momentarily for your bags. For more news, visit theonion.com/newsbeat.
Talk Live. That's right. It's Sunday, and we're live on the radio. Actually, Free Talk Live may very well be the only program that is live on the radio right now in America. I know that, I've done a little research on this. I couldn't tell you precisely the hours, but when you're talking about live, national, call-in programming, commercial, not NPR, because I don't know what the heck they do, then basically there's Free Talk Live and a handful of other shows on the weekend. And when it comes to these hours that we're on, from 7p to 10p Eastern Time, of those 2 days, that's 6 hours we're on. By the way, it's Mark with you.
And Chris.
And Chris, sitting in for Daryl. Thanks so much. In those 6 hours, 3 of them, when I did the research, was only Free Talk Live. That's it.
Wow.
Yeah. And you're welcome to call in, talk about whatever's on your mind here on Free Talk Live. That's what we do. We also, of course, bring things in, because we didn't. We just sit here and wait for your calls, and, well, that'd be awful. So, I have something that we talked about last night at the show, and it really didn't get far at all, because we ended up talking about immigration, and I'm almost of the opinion that is talk radio hell for Free Talk Live.
It can be good, and there's a lot of immigration news. But it does seem like sometimes we're just going down the rabbit hole and we never dig ourselves back out.
So it was all immigration all night long. And I'm going to state my opinion on immigration. It is not entirely crazy, because I've heard other talk show hosts have it. I've heard Rush Limbaugh has this same opinion.
Wow.
Now, I don't know if he took mine or whatever. I kind of spruced it up from Milton Friedman, so I'm not going to claim complete credit from this either. But that anybody should be able to come to this country, work their butts off if that's what they want to do, so long as they take no government assistance and they never get to vote their whole lives. Like, you're never, ever, ever going to have those things.
Works for me.
And I'm sure that lots of people that wanted to work hard and want to make a better life for themselves would be happy to come and bear that extra tax burden.
Right.
Now, I think that there's some things that can be polished up on the edges of this opinion. This is intended to be short for people on the radio to consume, but it handles most of the objections that are out there.
Right.
There's still they're taking our jobs. Sure. They're my favorite. They're carrying drug-resistant tuberculosis. That's relatively going. Here's my favorite. My absolute favorite is somebody who called in one time and said, they're coming across the border and they're eating the dogs in my apartment complex.
Maybe, or maybe I'm not even going to go there, because
who knows?
I'm going to stereotype something.
Right.
I always like the Schrodinger's immigrant, the one who simultaneously is too lazy to work and wants to sponge off of welfare, and at the same time is here to take my job. Yeah. So it makes no sense.
Right. If they're sponging off of welfare, I don't have any use for them. Please don't let them come in. But if they're wanting to work hard and they're able to take my job, whatever my job might be, that means that I was not able to beat, for whatever reason, illiterates generally. I mean, illiterate at least in English. English is a second language.
This is a Doug Stanhope bit,
right?
But you're exactly right. And if your job, if you are so insecure in your job is so close to being on the line that somebody who cannot speak English came over here looking like somebody off the cast of Gilligan's Island, and like a castaway, then either one, you're overemployed, or they deserve the job.
Right. And I mean, there are jobs out there that can be done by immigrants, and I hope that they're done. I mean, I used to do roofing, but honestly, the whole crew were people that really didn't speak English very well at all. And the reason that I had the job was because I could interface between the boss man and the crew.
Yeah. And that's going to end up being it's already a valuable skill. But having that second language, particularly Spanish, I don't want to understate that.
By the way, the United States does not have an official language. Just to be clear, I know that this may be upsetting to you. It certainly was upsetting my grandmother. When my grandmother would be in Walgreens or at the mall or maybe Disney World, and I would just remember all those instances, and she'd hear somebody speaking Spanish. I love my grandmother, mind you. I love her. I think she's just the greatest. But it would irk the crap out of her when she heard somebody speaking Spanish. She'd cluck her tongue.
It does, right?
Right. Well, it does it to me. I don't think that I listen in. I try to listen to what they're saying because I speak a little Spanish.
I think it's it's courteous to speak the language that other people are speaking. That's a good thing.
When you're standing in a checkout line?
Okay. When you're not even part of the conversation, that's kind of ridiculous.
Right.
I get where you're coming from.
I mean, that's what was happening. Okay, my grandmother was upset because people to whom she was not speaking were speaking another language in like a checkout line. If she heard another language, she'd cluck her tongue. Now, admittedly, she was the child of an immigrant, right?
Right.
Like, her mother didn't speak English when she got here, and she spoke, but far as I could tell, my great-grandmother Pauline spoke perfect English. Now, she died when I was 5 or 6, so I couldn't tell you entirely, but I mean, I didn't recall her speaking bad English.
Right.
She picked it up somehow or another.
Sure.
My grandmother said they didn't speak German in the house at all.
Right.
So there you go. Let's go to Matt calling in from Louisiana. Matt, you're on Free Talk Live. Listen on YouTube.
Yeah, I would actually like to thank y'all for the show that y'all put on yesterday with you, Ian, and Alberto. That was very illustrative. Alberto is exactly the kind of guy we want here in the United States.
Alberto was an illegal immigrant who called in to basically say, I am not in MS-39 or whatever. I have 3 jobs. I have a house payment. It is so big. Basically, he was just complaining that people were calling him a lazy, good-for-nothing gang member immigrant or whatever. He's like, I'm from Brazil. So he's washing, he's mowing lawns, he's washing dishes, he's doing restaurant work, these kind of things. Right. Whatever it takes to pay the bills for an expensive house. He and his wife, 3 jobs apiece. Obviously not a bunch of lazy bones. Go ahead.
Right. Well, I could never be a libertarian because I believe in national borders, and apparently y'all don't.
I don't think that's a criteria, but we could have that conversation if you'd like.
Sure.
Well, I agree with the sentiment. Borders, language, and culture, but that's a sentiment. It's not a policy.
So
what does that actually look like?
From a standpoint of a sentiment, I may agree with you from a sentiment. So if you want to know at least language, right? I think that people's lives will be better if they know English. And I don't care where you are. If you can speak English, if you're in Sierra Leone, Africa, and you can speak English well, you can get on Facebook, you can talk to people in the United States, you can find somebody that may sponsor some activity of yours or another, or get a group together, as we did with that orphanage in Uganda.
Sure.
And the reason is because Nafuna figured out how to speak rudimentary English. It's not the greatest English in the world, but he put it together.
Well, it is the language of business.
Yep.
It allows you to. Yes. Yeah, there you go.
The lingua franca, if you will, of the 21st century.
Yeah. But I'm lucky that I'm the one who speaks it.
One of the things I've noticed is one of the common threads running through all of this pressure there's 2 things I've noticed that are driving these countries to become violent hellholes. One is our war on drugs, and the other is certain wealthy Americans running around convincing these countries that what they need to do is ban the private ownership of guns. And that's one of the things that happened to Brazil.
You sound like a libertarian to me. I want to hear about this Brazil story you have. Just hold the line, if you would, for just a moment.
I will hold.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
The number that he called is 855-450-3733. That's 855-450-FREE. And I will get you on. I already have some people on, but that's great. It's not a long wait here on Free Talk Live.
And we like calls.
Yep. Live here on Sunday. 855-450-FREE. Free Talk Live.
The Bitcoin.com wallet is a simple and powerful full-featured wallet that allows you to send and receive Bitcoin, BTC, and Bitcoin Cash, BCH, with anyone, anywhere in the world. It supports both single and multi-signature wallets and is available in multiple languages. The Bitcoin.com wallet is available on Windows, Linux, Mac, Android, and iOS devices. Use the Bitcoin.com wallet to buy, send, store, and receive both Bitcoin, BTC, and Bitcoin Cash, BCH. Learn more at wallet.bitcoin.com. That's wallet.bitcoin.com.
I've said it many times on air, and I'll say it here. The New Hampshire Liberty Alliance is one of the most important organizations for freedom in the world. New Hampshire is ground zero for freedom, and the NHLA is the best organization at promoting effective liberty activism. This ad is sponsored by Free Talk Live, and I, Mark Edge, am a lifetime member because I believe in the NHLA. Please check them out at nhliberty.org. Not everyone can move right now, but you can support the cause. Donate top cryptocurrencies or old-fashioned U.S. dollars, nhliberty.org. Visit their website and see what they're all about, nhliberty.org.
Imagine this is you. You're working late when you get an alert on your smartphone. Your motion-activated Blink security camera picked up something at home. You pop open your Blink app and see the silhouette of a man peering through your kitchen window. The job of a home security system is to help stop crime. Get 3 Blink cams for way less than the other guys, plus an extra 15% off. Visit blinkprotect.com/FTL, like Free Talk Live. Blinkprotect.com/FTL to save 15%.
Zencash is an end-to-end encrypted system with zero-knowledge technology over which communications, data, or value can be securely transmitted and stored. With over 7,500 secure nodes, Zencash has one of the most distributed node systems of any cryptocurrency. Zencash is a platform for cryptocurrency and communications built by voluntarists for voluntarists, with the ideas of voluntary interaction being written into the white paper no less than half a dozen times. Learn more at zencash.com. That's zencash.com.
Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm. LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
This Your Family Today tip is brought to you by Boost Kid Essentials Nutritionally Complete Drink, providing your picky eater with essential nutrition and great taste in one drink. Visit us at kidessentials.com. To make sure your kids eat healthy, follow the 5-a-day plan. Serve 3 servings of vegetables and 2 servings of fruit daily. Remember, a serving could just mean a piece of fruit or a half cup of veggies. If your kids are picky eaters, ask a nutritionist about other sources. For more tips like these, visit us at parenthood.com/yourfamilytoday.
Love what we do? Please help support our international satellite channels at patreon.lrn.fm. That's patreon.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live. Your only opportunity to call in and talk in America. At least 3 hours out of the 6 hours we're on this weekend. It's Mark with you.
And Chris.
The number's 855-450-3733. It's 855-450-FREE. Last night here on Free Talk Live, we were attempting to read a story written by Judge Napolitano about immigration and sort of the constitutionality of some things that Donald Trump had said. Mm-hmm. Which, important, relevant, and all that stuff. But it brought up immigration generally, and when you bring up immigration generally, you have to address some platitudes. When you, slaughter some sacred cows out there, then some people are going to be upset. And, we do that here regularly on Free Talk. We serve sacred cow burger here. Okay? Because if you can't critically define what it is you're trying to say, I'm not going to just let you say, well, yeah, they come over here and use our welfare.
Oh, caller called in with that. That must be a fact.
Right, it must be a fact.
Yeah, no need to back that up.
There's first off, there's a lot of stuff that stands in the face of that. But besides that, my recommendation is freedom. I think that free people should be able to cross the borders of free countries freely, or you don't have free people, you don't have free countries. Now, that doesn't mean that I think that freedom necessarily works. It's just that I've been told my whole life it's a free country. So you can't have a free country, but people can't cross the border.
Right.
And there's a variety of other things we could discuss on that subject. I'd first have to mention that Bitcoin.com is making sure that we mention now that SaveAtPurse.com is accepting Bitcoin Cash. Previously, they had accepted BTC, which is sort of the pre-runner of Bitcoin Cash, and now that they're accepting Bitcoin Cash, you can save a bit more on purchases. Bitcoin Cash provides, last time I looked, at least it was a tenth of the transaction fee of BTC. Does that sound right to you, Chris?
Maybe.
Yeah,
fortunately, BTC fees are really low.
They are
now,
pretty low
but
for BTC fees.
Right, exactly.
They're low for BTC fees, but Bitcoin Cash fees are BCH.
I don't think they've ever gone
up
from nothing. I mean, they're very, very low.
Yeah, very, very low. So SaveAtPurse.com, you can get it's not crazy to say 20% off of your Amazon purchases. You just use Bitcoin Cash to buy things. You just go to SaveAtPurse.com, sign up, get an account, and begin using they've got videos there. They make it very easy for you. SaveAtPurse.com. Let's go back to Matt. He was explaining to us, well, I guess that there's rich American interests that are keeping people from owning guns in Brazil. Is that right?
Yeah, the Joyce Foundation in particular, along with somebody who's a dual citizen, but he's not welcome in his home country. He'll be shot on sight, and that'd be George Soros' Open Society Foundation.
Okay.
Convinced the Brazilian government.
He's quite a bugbear out there. I don't know much about him, but he's one of those names. If you're a liberal, you throw out the Kochs, and if you're a conservative, you throw out George Soros. That's all I know.
Right.
Well, I'm not a conservative because I don't believe that the war on drugs is being fought in any sort of intelligent way. And I'm not a liberal because I think welfare destroys people's will.
I'm with you on both those things.
I'm politically homeless.
I think you're libertarian.
Yeah. It's okay to be homeless.
Because I believe in borders.
Well, there's a term that we use in libertarianism. There's a term we use in libertarianism called a bordertarian, but that acknowledges first that you're a libertarian, and then it sort of slices the pie a little thinner, if that makes sense.
Sure.
Yeah, I know, but Darryl W. Perry is just anxious to kick bordertarians out. That's okay, though. He's free to do that. I support
Ian
his freedom.
And Darryl do not define what libertarianism is, as big as their microphones might be.
Nor does Mark or Chris.
They have big microphones. They're huge. But one of the Joyce Foundation convinced Brazil to basically ban the ownership of guns except outside of your house.
Okay.
And
how's that going? Is crime down?
No, crime did not go down. It went up. It went way up.
Are you saying like the criminals are willing to break the law, but law-abiding citizens are not? Is that what's happening?
It looks as though that might be the case.
It's almost as if we were warned.
Yes, it is, oddly enough. They did the same damn thing in Honduras, too. Yeah, here's what I
pretty much the United States is the freest place in the world when it comes to firearms ownership. As far as laws go, I mean, there's probably, I don't know, Svalbard or someplace where you can just carry an AK-47 around in your back, and you probably need to, considering there's a polar bear waiting to eat you and rip out your liver. But, I think would I rather have a 45? I don't know. I'd rather carry a sidearm in that case, I think. But when it comes to gun laws...
A 50 caliber Action Express would do the trick.
Sure would.
But there is a point that I think a lot of people who I normally would side with seem to be intent on ignoring, and that is the United States. If you if you remove the immigration into this country, both legal and illegal, is on a demographic decline that basically makes us Japan. And now Japan, they're willing to put up with it.
Explain to me what happened with Japan. Right. I'm not sure what you're talking about.
That one. Go ahead.
They're not reproducing.
That's right.
So the country is going to be an automated country with a few old people around. And basically their military is probably going to be mostly automated. If you look at the choices they make when choosing military hardware, if it requires fewer people rather than more, they go for that option.
Yep.
So their tank is one of the very few in the Western militaries that has an automated tank shell loader. It's other than that, it's a copy of the Abrams.
I can't imagine what an island nation really needs tanks for in the first place. But it's their business and they're spending their money on it. Whatever. I guess when I think about this demographic issue, and that's true, the browning of America, as it's called, with just Latins are having a lot more children than European Americans, white Americans, whatever term you wish to use. Remember, white's a relatively new term. We used to call them Italians and the Irish and a variety of other things. Now, I guess they've all been shoved into one category, and that's fine.
Caucasoids.
Yeah, Caucasoids. So the Caucasoid Americanos are having fewer babies. But this happens around the world as any society becomes more wealthy. They just choose to have fewer children.
Yes.
I mean, there's a few religious nuts out there that'll continue to pop out babies like Mama's a clown car or something like that. But other than that, generally this is the case. So
I love the term Mama's clown car.
Thanks for that, Matt. I'm going to continue to address this here shortly. Thanks for the call. The number's 855-450-3733. Going to talk about the browning of America.
All right.
855-450-FREE, and I swear we will read this article.
All right.
Free Talk Live, 855-450-3733.
Want revenge on the common housefly? Well, after 10,000 years, someone has finally come up with a better way. The Bug Assault, a miniaturized shotgun, which utilizes ordinary table salt as ammunition. Non-toxic and no batteries required. So much fun, you'll forget you have a wife and kids. $39.95 and free economy shipping. Use discount code GCN and get an extra 10% off your purchase at bugassault.com. Fire your fly swatter. Get your Bug Assault today.
Get the ultimate knife at an ultimate price. The Fox Karambit knife. Finally available in the U.S. The Fox Karambit knife opens with one hand, faster than you can pull a handgun. For utility, for defense, and for way less than other knives of this caliber. Go to theultimateknife.com. Truly the best knife you will ever own, and only available at theultimateknife.com. Use promo code radio at checkout for free shipping. Get the ultimate knife at the ultimate price at theultimateknife.com.
People love photography. But when we thought about photography, we realized one thing. Humans are limited to looking at photos with our eyes. That's a problem, right? So we made an app, PicSong, the first program that turns your photos into music if you want to do that for some reason. It puts the power in your hands. You get to decide why you need this. I can't tell you why you need this. It's not my job. Who is this app for? Maybe it's for students, or artists, or blind people. But can it turn your music into photos? No, it can't. Do you get to keep the original photo? No, it gets deleted. Always back up your photos before using PicSong.
This is the Onion News Network.
What do you shop for that you could otherwise buy at Amazon? Pretty much everything, right? Amazon has competitive pricing and they deliver, and that's a big plus. If you could plan ahead in your shopping, would you be interested in saving up to 33%? There's a catch. You have to do your shopping in Bitcoin. But imagine those savings. It's like a huge raise. All you have to do is go to saveitpurse.com, We've saved thousands, and you can too. Plan ahead and save. SaveItPurse.com.
The three most important things you can do for Free Talk Live are: 1, share one episode a week on Facebook or in some other social networking site. 2, buy the things you buy online through shop.freetalklive.com. 3, give $5 a month to the AMP program. It's my firm belief that Free Talk Live's AMP program is the best use of your charitable dollar among liberty-oriented organizations. Support all the organizations you love, but make sure you give $5 a month to AMP at amp.freetalklive.com.
Since time began, tyrants have taken aim at personal liberties. Now there's a movie that aims back.
The government has no more right to tell us what to put in our bodies than they have to take our guns or tell us what books we can read.
6 drug police were eaten by bears while raiding a marijuana farm.
On your knees, you dirty hippie! Jesus. On your knees! What's the problem, officer?
Today, many cops who enforce pot laws do so only because it provides them with cushy jobs, good benefits, and a chance to push people around.
I was an undercover narcotics officer. The drug war is nothing but a farce.
The Second Amendment says you gotta keep you and your gat intact.
Guns and Weed, The Road to Freedom. A film by Michael W. Dean and Nima Vadati.
DVD available now at gunsandweed.com or on Amazon. That's gunsandweed.com. Makes the perfect gift. Remember, that's gunsandweed.com.
This is the Liberty Radio Network, broadcasting the latest liberty-oriented audio content 24 hours a day at LRN.FM.
Talk Live, the live Sunday edition with Mark
and Chris.
Chris sitting in for Daryl. Thank you so much for coming in. You're always our standby, Chris.
It's always fun to do the show. I just enjoy this. I don't know how else to explain it. This is a fun night for me.
My favorite about Sunday, especially when you're on, is it's adult night.
Yeah.
Here on Free Talk Live. So feel free to call in. The number is 855-450-3733. And speaking of which, a gentleman called in last segment, and one of his concerns was sort of culture in America, letting people come from other countries. What's that going to do to America's culture? The browning of America, as it has been called. And I would say that, sorry, that's just the way it goes. As people get more wealthy, and this has always been the truth, they have fewer and fewer kids.
Right, and this is not a new trend.
The rich get richer, the poor have kids.
Right, and this has been going on maybe for the last 30 years. It's been gradual and slow, but I remember people talking about this in the 80s.
Yeah,
and they were right. Yeah. The part of this is, I think, it's also a transition from agrarian society into something else. So the purpose of having lots of children, 100, 150 years ago was really to produce your own labor. If you were on a farm,
partly,
that was part of it, and you knew you were going to be able to pass on to your children the fruits of their labor in a sense, but that was really it. And that's why I think, we saw those bigger families. When you look at cities, you see smaller families. And as we've become less agrarian, less agriculturally focused, then this is inevitable. I think that a lot of those other cultures, when we talk about brown cultures, tend to be, in a lot of cases, more agrarian still. And not just where they're from, but they bring that with them here. I grew up in not only grew up, but lived in some really agricultural areas. So I'm used to, seeing a town that might have 2,500 people in it, but the official population sign says 500 because it was all illegal immigration
and
coming
workers,
for all these jobs. And yes, migrant workers. And I saw the same thing when I lived in Pennsylvania.
One thing's important to note on this is, like it or not, your lifestyle is built on the backs of these people.
Right.
If you want vegetables that are priced the way they are in the produce department, that you can afford, and vegetables are so important to your health, this is how you need to let these folks come in and do their job.
And it's not just that, but it's also hotel rooms, it's restaurants, it's all these places that, quite frankly, there just aren't a lot of people, I'll say natives, breaking down the door to get a job washing dishes in a Chinese restaurant.
Right, I wash dishes, but I did it on work release from prison.
It was a step up.
Well, it did beat prison. That much is for sure. But, I can tell you that I was I go back at night to the work release center from prison.
Right.
And the inmates there would be like, you wash dishes? Like, they considered that to be low work compared to what they did. And I'm like, yeah, I wash dishes. And free food.
Exactly.
So there you go. Let's go to the phones. Got Carl calling in from New Jersey. Carl, you're on Free Talk Live.
Thanks for taking my call. When I talk about the Supremes, I don't mean the singing group, but they just passed a new regulation law, whatever it is, that you do not have to belong to unions. And I think that's a good thing, because now maybe how people to get elected in New Jersey will change, because if they can't get the funding from the government unions, school teachers, and other ones, they won't have the money to get elected or reelected.
Well,
that's what do you think about that?
There's something to that. I will say that, and to be a little more clear on that Supreme Court decision, and that's what they do. They decide things, and then they will, publish it. But it basically struck down the idea that public sector union employees could be forced to pay union dues to an organization that they may not agree with on First Amendment principles. So I think that's a good thing. If you're running a private company and your workers want to unionize and you allow it to happen, then, God have mercy on your soul. That's your life. Public sector, I think, is vastly different, because there's no way I can negotiate or address my grievances when, for example, the state of New Hampshire decides that they want to unionize someone within it wants to unionize some state agency. Now I'm tied to their pension. Now I'm tied to everything else. I don't have any power. I'm reduced to like third degree collective bargaining.
Right. And one more thing, when I go to the school board meeting in July, I may be the only person in the peanut gallery because they got the summer off. But what I'm going to ask them, the principals and higher, they pay for their union dues. Will they get to keep that money, and us taxpayers will still pay for the dues? I just don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either. Ultimately, that's what it comes down to, because these unions are highly entrenched. This is something I've said over and over again here on Free Talk Live. When it comes to schools, schools do exactly what they're intended to do. You just don't understand what they're intended to do. You think schools are here to educate young minds. Well, no. My son has never been to school, and he's smarter than your kid at his age. Okay.
Well, it didn't used to be that way.
Now,
when I was
I suspect
in school.
it was better.
Yeah.
But what schools are intended to do is just like every other government work program. It's a government make-work program for educators.
Yes.
And sadly, what it does is it keeps on. If you want to have the best workforce in any business or organization or concern, you should be culling the very bottom, the bottom 10%. Maybe some say the bottom 20%, but I think that's way too much turnover.
I like that.
But the bottom 10% should be going so that you're driving up the caliber of your workers. Now, you have to raise wages in order to do this, and that's a good thing. But that may not be true with teachers. I don't know the answer, because that's a government situation, and government doesn't act like regular economics. So,
we have some private education that
imagine
does
how
offer some interesting
good
insights.
government education would be if the bottom 10% of teachers was fired every year, if the bottom 10% of administrators was fired every year, and then we brought on new ones. I have no idea.
Or have less of them. Because you don't need, but like you said, they're the employment of everybody in that system.
Yep. That's the difficulty. I don't hate teachers. I hate bad teachers.
Me either.
Thanks for the call, Carl.
And thank you. Bye-bye.
Take care.
Bye. And this is one of the things that, you'll hear, efficiency may not be the right thing when we're talking about educating young people.
Mm-hmm.
Really? You want to educate young people inefficiently? That's the other thing here. Because if educators are the conduit through which learning comes, then we need some efficiency there.
I think efficiency, it reminds me of more of a Prussian model. We will teach you, you will learn arithmetic from 5 a.m. to 12 p.m. And I think education is one of those things that to me is strictly results based. That's how I judge it. I mean, how well does the system work? And we see systems like homeschooling and all sorts of other options, charter schools and private schools and Montessori and all these different things. Some of them perform really well. Some of them show really good results. And the basic public school system just doesn't. It would be one thing if we were just arguing because, given our results and how great public schools are doing and look at our test scores, they've gone up by 10%, but we want to bring them up by another 30%, so it's going to cost X amount of money. That's never the argument. The argument has been and will continue to be in our existing school system, we don't show any good results. Your only solution to this is to just give us more money and pray that this time it may actually change, but it won't.
The number is 855-450-3733. It's 855-450-FREE. Looks like we're on the hot button topics of immigration and education. 855-450-FREE. Free Talk Live.
This November, I'll be running the world's biggest and most popular marathon, the New York City Marathon, as a member of Team Innocence Project. The Innocence Project was the first legal organization to systematically apply DNA testing to cases of wrongful convictions as a powerful tool to reveal innocence. It's already been an extraordinary year for the Innocence Project and their clients. They've already freed more innocent people in the past 12 months than in any year in the history of the Innocence Project, and they're gearing up to do even more. The attorneys and paralegals for the Innocence Project are dedicated to doing whatever it takes to set an innocent person free. To support them, a new cohort of law students have recently joined and are excited to help with more than 200 cases of clients seeking to prove their innocence. 9 clients have been exonerated and reunited with their families in 2018 already, and your support now will help build on the incredible momentum of exonerations. You can support the Innocence Project by going to run.freetalklive.com. That's run.freetalklive.com.
It's been said, any society is only 3 missed meals away from chaos. Those times may be near. Think about it. Our country faces multiple terrorist threats and aggressions from Russia and North Korea. Social unrest and violent marches yet again may lead to looting of stores and city shutdowns. And our crumbling infrastructure leaves our power grid vulnerable to long-term outages from a single cyber attack. When the chaos from any one of these threats arises, the government knows it can't provide during a widespread national emergency. That's why you need your own plan for self-reliance. That's where My Patriot Supply comes in. Get a 4-week survival food supply for only $99. That includes breakfast, lunches, and dinners. Order online at preparewithgcn.com. $99 for 4 weeks of survival food that tastes like homemade cooking and lasts up to 25 years. From My Patriot Supply. Get your kits today at preparewithgcn.com. Free shipping is included. Preparewithgcn.com.
Uncovering the secrets and exposing the lies. That's what the readers of freedomsphoenix.com get every day. freedomsphoenix.com, constantly providing the information, the real news about government policies, and the real relationship we all have with the coercive government. The real condition of the economy, innovations in technology, breakthroughs in energy, health, and computer science. Learn the truth well before it's admitted to in the lamestream media. The corporate media, nothing more than distributors of government propaganda, but now there's an alternative. freedomsphoenix.com. Constant news updates on the issues that affect your life in the most important ways. With liberty and property under constant attack, freedomsphoenix.com provides the understanding behind the propaganda, and it encourages the participation of its readers. Go to freedomsphoenix.com. That's freedoms with an S, phoenix.com. freedomsphoenix.com. The revolution between the ears has already happened.
Did you know you can watch Free Talk Live during our live show 7 days a week from 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern via our studio cams at cam.freetalklive.com? Plus, you can chat with other listeners while you watch, all totally free. Now that our live video stream is hosted by YouTube, our video archives will be online even faster, so be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Listen, watch, and chat all free at cam.freetalklive.com. That's cam.freetalklive.com.
Looking for a great real estate investment? Consider New Hampshire, which is ground zero for the Liberty Movement. Your first call should be to Mark Worden from Porcupine Real Estate. He's more than just a real estate agent. He's your New Hampshire concierge. Where are the best places to live? Do you want farm, city, the burbs, or forest? Do you want a duplex or multifamily building so that renters pay your mortgage? There are homes in all price ranges in New Hampshire, and Mark can help with financing too. Invest in Liberty and property. Mark Worden can help.
PorcupineRealEstate.com.
You can sign up to receive the latest about the Liberty Radio Network via our email updates at updates.lrn.fm. That's updates.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live, the live Sunday edition. If you're hearing this show between 7p and 10p Eastern Time, you can call in. As a matter of fact, you don't have to be listening to the show between 7p and 10p Eastern Time. Maybe you heard us say something on a previous show and you want to address that. And you hear the show on your radio station at 2 o'clock in the morning. Because we allow radio stations to do that. Free Talk Live is very flexible. And we will provide programming to a station no matter what time they're looking for us. I think we're the morning drive down in Guam.
Nice.
And that's fine. Call in, any topic, anytime. We're ready for you. I know that this isn't the way talk radio is done. I know you expect long wait times on a talk radio program. I know you expect to be forced into a particular topic. Doesn't matter. The number is 855-450-3733, or you can call us on Skype. The username there is lrn.fm. Excuse me. And I'm just seeing there is somebody on Skype, and so I need to take that call.
Speaking of.
Yeah, lrn.fm is the username on Skype, or you could use the Discord, and I'll try to make that work, and maybe that'll happen. So let's go to Bad Penguin. Real quick. If you want to do some online shopping, of course we all do these days, please go to shop.freetalklive.com first. You can go through, we've got walmart.com, lots of other retailers there, shop.freetalklive.com. Bad Penguin, can you hear me?
I can hear you, absolutely. Okay. Thanks for taking my call, Minister. How are you doing tonight?
All's well. There's a little overmodulated on your microphone. I don't know what the deal is, so maybe back off of it a little bit.
Okay, I hope that's better. Looking good, Uncle Chris. I'm digging the style. I just wanted to call talking about yesterday's topic with immigration. First of all, my father came here from Pakistan. He's certainly not a pushcart operator. Neither none of his brothers are pushcart operators. I don't know what these people are talking about.
The one thing that a caller said was, I don't want a country full of peasants or Pakistani pushcart operators. And wow. I think that what he was trying to say, not, pointing a finger at Pakistanis generally, I feel like if there is if a general thought about Pakistanis, it's that these are hardworking people that come here and run our convenience stores or whatever. Not the worst thing to have thought about you as a culture, but I don't know where there are a bunch of Pakistani pushcart operators. So go on.
Oh yeah, I mean, but to move on from that, this is what I want to say. Sorry, muting my microphone there. Go to a deli. Go to your local deli, your local grocery store. Go to a deli counter. What do they have there? They have salami. They have kielbasa. They have, they have sauerkraut. They have any number of things that comes from cultures that were not considered American. They weren't when they came. They were not considered Western. They were not even. Some of them weren't even considered human. Even worse, they were mostly Catholic. And I mean, these people were despised when they.
Can you make the point as quickly as you can? There's just some bad audio here, and I'd like to get your thoughts out as quick as I could.
Yeah. The Germans were supposedly going to be socialists and disrupt the labor. The Italians were anarchists, which I guess some kind of like anarcho-communist terrorists. The Jews they were trying to infiltrate, and the problem is they were trying to
every wave of immigration so far in American history, there's always been somebody who said something about it.
Right.
There's always been something. Don't forget the drunk Irish people that won't work.
Sure.
Yeah. The dogs and Irish stay off the lawn. Absolutely. But we really notice the pattern that keeps reoccurring, and say, wait a minute, this is just what happens. This is the pattern. They learn English. They integrate. Believe me, I'm around immigrants all the time. They integrate.
Yep.
They can't help them integrate.
Thanks for the call, Ben Pitwood. Appreciate it. He's absolutely right. People do come here. They do integrate. They don't integrate as fast as you'd like them to because, well, yeah, you're going to see some people speaking foreign languages, within their family at the grocery store or whatever. Right. And yes, they're going to buy weird food. But by the way,
a lot of them are going to
your kids are going to love that weird food
eventually. Yeah.
Ultimately they're going to enjoy it. And the arc of history shows that we'll be just fine. Really. Yeah. The best thing to do here, and Republicans have really fallen flat on this since 9/11, the best thing to do is to open your arms and say, welcome. Let us tell you about all the great features of the Republican Party.
Right.
That's what they should be doing.
Yeah. And they're not. They're basically pushing the same tired mantra that's been pushed for decades. And it's interesting because I watched Gangs of New York not too long ago.
Love that movie.
Right.
And it's a perfect illustration.
But it is. This is what? It was Civil War time.
Civil War, 1860s.
In New York, but, it has a bunch of characters complaining about the Irish.
Yep.
Complaining about the slaves, complaining about this, complaining about the Italians, everything except for Americans.
Yes.
And if you weren't native born, then you were different somehow, and that was going to make it all different. But we look at these, even into the 20th century, and a lot of it's driven by war. People get displaced, and a lot of times those people come here. Germans have been in this country for a long time, but they also called sauerkraut freedom slaw during World War I. So
that's the difficulty is that
reoccurrences. Yeah.
Right. Germans have faced a lot of discrimination during World War I and World War II, and things that they had nothing to do with.
I got a great one for you. You got time for a quick story?
Sure.
All right. So my grandfather, my family tended to have 3 boys in each family. So if you have multiples of 3, naturally you form a baseball team.
Okay.
Right? So they're playing another team, all these Reitman boys, and this is during World War I. And my grandfather didn't accidentally, but he slid into home plate, and he cleated the guy. Back then you had metal cleats, so he cleated the guy who was catching.
Yeah.
Not a happy guy. My grandfather saved this letter, and I know my brothers still have it, but it was basically, "You dirty kraut.
Yeah.
How dare you? You're no better than those Germans that are killing babies in the lowlands in Belgium. I hope you die. You watch. We're going to kill all your family. We're going to take every one of them out, and that's going to be the end of it, and we'll solve this." And my grandfather showed that to him, and he goes, which is weird because we're Swiss.
Well,
we had a German surname, but it was the most violent, hateful, threatening letter I've ever read in my life.
So, when somebody's mad, they'll often resort to the first thing they can come to, and ethnicity is the first thing they can come up with.
Right.
And it's first off, I understand why somebody's mad if they got cleated, right?
Right.
Nobody likes to be cleated, and you don't want your kid cleated. And when the different people do the cleating, I guess what I'm trying to say is the cooler heads prevailed, right?
Obviously.
Yeah, and ultimately it came okay. This is just kind of something you have to deal with, as a immigrant to a country, even if you're first generation, you were born here or whatever, your parents weren't, and
sure.
It's human nature.
And in those generations in the early 1900s, they did still speak German because that was their second language their first language in Switzerland. But it was just that sort of assumption that, if you speak that language, just this very superficial thing, or you speak English with a German accent, then you must be a German and you must be evil and you must be that. So
As though the German people had anything to do with Hitler or the Kaiser or any of that stuff.
Right, but I guarantee you there are Spanish Americans in this country.
Spanish-speaking Americans?
Spanish.
Okay, Spanish.
Spanish.
Yep, gotcha.
Like, as in from Spain, who are probably getting a lot of the same reaction from people they meet. Some people are going to hear a Spanish accent,
they're like,
regardless of where you're at, and they're going to say,
"Are you an illegal?
You're MS-13."
Right.
Crazy.
And yeah, I'm absolutely certain when you consider that there's an entire continent, South America, where Spanish speakers have nothing to do with gangs or whatever. I mean, parts of it do. Parts of the United States have things to do with gangs too.
Sure.
As far as I'm concerned, the government is just the most successful gang, and they happen to fly flags out in front of their buildings.
Hey.
So, they're gang members. Many times the police will identify themselves as a gang to other gang members in order to sort of show them that, hey, we're the gang and we're the most successful gang, and don't mess around because we will squash you or whatever. That's good. I would prefer to have the police as a gang than those gang members, but let's not lose sight of what these things are true.
Right. That's a good point.
855-450-3733. If you just bow down to their terminology, you lose the fight already. You have to keep your mind sharp and critically think. 855-450-3733. Free Talk Live.
You haven't experienced yogurt until you've tried a Mossy, embodying health and flavor in a true whole milk, green-fed dairy beverage. Every sip pays homage to our old world cows and the ancient culturing methods their milk benefits from. With over 30 probiotics, a Mossy's undeniably nutritious, refined, cultured sensation bolsters your health and awakens your passion for dairy. A Mossy's so good, and you need to try it. Contact your Longevity distributor or call 877-878-4203 or go to gcnteam.com.
Kiss your credit card debt goodbye. I'm Pharmacist Keith. Dr. Wallach, the Dead Doctors Don't Lie guy, and myself want to show you how to achieve financial peace, creating an extra income that will last for years to come by joining Dr. Wallach's crusade, spreading his message of better health. To learn more, visit radio.recordedvideo.com. That's radio.recordedvideo.com, radio.recordedvideo.com, or call 866-257-3105 for a recorded message.
Are you tired of governments around the world killing innocent people? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless, free market, non-political currency. Bitcoin is money that cannot be inflated or controlled by any state. By continuing to use their money, you're perpetuating the killing. Stop doing it. You have an incredible alternative available to you now. Learn it, use it, spread it. Get started with Bitcoin at Bitcoin.com. It's Bitcoin.com.
Did you know we've taken our LRN.FM telephone listen line to a new level with the LRN.FM audio on demand line? Now you can call 712-770-8447 anytime and listen to LRN.FM's live feed. And you can listen to a bunch of our original shows on demand. Long distance fees may apply. Just dial 712-770-8447 and choose from the menu. 712-770-8447.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 2 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
Temporarily from the Libertarian National Convention in New Orleans, this is Darrell W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Sunday, July 1st, 2018. Silver's trading at $16.12 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,253 per ounce. Zencash is trading at $18, and the average price of Bitcoin is $6,566. Antiwar.com reports the U.S. military has formally ended a 70-year presence in the South Korean capital of Seoul on Friday with the opening of a new military headquarters further south in the city of Pyeongtaek. The U.S. had forces in Seoul since shortly after World War II. The new base is further south and therefore out of range of North Korean artillery. The relocation has been planned for some time, though the priority is clearly lessened with North Korea in talks to relocate its artillery and peace talks underway. Still, U.S. military brass are presenting citing the new base as proof of a long-term commitment to South Korea, a commitment that may not have any practical justification if the peace process is completed. The base costs $10.8 billion, and U.S. officials are emphasizing that the South Koreans paid 90% of that. Pyeongtaek is a port city on the western coast of South Korea. The new base, Camp Humphreys, is intended to accommodate 43,000 people by the end of 2022. South Korean officials have said that they are keen to keep a large U.S. military presence in their country, largely believing it is an economic boom for the host city.
Zencash is the world's first private, distributed, and reliable platform for communications, transactions, and publishing. Zencash has the ability to use both transparent and shielded transactions, with shielded transactions using zero-knowledge proofs. Zencash features global governance with inclusive decision-making, reliable funding for continuous improvements, and documentation and wallets in many languages that are available for Linux, Mac, Windows, and Android devices. Learn more at zencash.com. That's zencash.com.
UPI reports hundreds of marchers across the United States on Saturday drew thousands of protesters demanding the Trump administration reunite families separated at the U.S.-Mexico border. In cities from New York to Los Angeles and conservative strongholds across the Deep South, Families Belong Together rallies drew people from both sides of the issue to more than 700 marches scheduled throughout the country. Political and public outcry against the Trump administration's policies of separating parents from children upon arrest prompted the president to sign an executive order last week, saying parents and children would be kept together in detention. Administration officials have offered different explanations for how the policy would be implemented and how and when all approximately 2,300 children would be reunited with parents. Sunday's events were a call to President Trump to reunite the families immediately, cease family detention, and reverse the administration's zero-tolerance border crossing policy, according to organizers. A statement from Families Belong Together obtained by NBC News said parents should not be criminally prosecuted for doing what all parents do, which is to bring their children to safety. This horrible nightmare for families will end only when the Trump administration permanently stops his 100% prosecution policy. In New York City, about 30,000 people showed up for a march across the Brooklyn Bridge, chanting, "Immigrants built this bridge." Sweltering heat did not deter thousands gathered at the White House for one of the day's largest protests, which included many wearing white for the cause and carrying signs that read, "What's next? Concentration camps," and "I care. Do you?" in reference to a jacket First Lady Melania Trump recently wore on a trip to visit child migrants. Civil rights icon John Lewis of Georgia joined demonstrators in Atlanta and drew parallels between Saturday's protest and the anti-segregation rallies in the 1960s. Lewis said, "As a nation and a people, we can do better. Don't give up. Don't give in. Keep marching." During the rallies, the president tweeted about the current immigration laws, saying, "When people come into our country illegally, we must immediately escort them back without going through years of legal maneuvering. Our laws are the dumbest anywhere in the world. Republicans want strong borders and no crime. Dems want open borders and are weak on crime." Counter-protesters showed up at many rallies, including Washington, Phoenix, and Boston, and carried Trump flags and shouted, "Build that wall." In Alabama, one counter-protester was taken into custody after pulling a gun in Huntsville. No shots were fired and no injuries were reported, according to police. Police say the man pulled the gun when he got into a verbal confrontation with a protester.
You can support FPP Radio by joining the Fans program. Fans are friends, allies, and Numery supporters. You can join the Fans program for as little as $1 per month through Patreon and get perks like ad-free versions of FPP Radio News and Peace, Love, Liberty Radio. To learn more or to join the Fans program, visit fans.fppradio.com.
This has been FPP Radio News. Online at fppradio.com.
Following this afternoon's arrest of Congress on the charge of over 23 million counts of manslaughter, our reporter spoke to Mark Westnick from Savannah, Georgia, just one of the many Americans that has lost a loved one due to the legislative branch's criminal negligence.
Because of Congress, my 23-year-old son died 2 years ago in Afghanistan. My nephew, he lost his leg in Iraq in 2006. And my brother died in Vietnam in 1969. Congress killed my family.
Defense attorneys for the now incarcerated 538-member group have dismissed the claims made by Westnick and other victims and released a statement saying their client has been, quote, "a pillar of the national community for over 200 years and completely innocent of any and all wrongdoing." Keep checking theonion.com for more as this story develops.
is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
Free Talk Live. It's the live Sunday edition. It's Mark with you.
And Chris.
You can call in, talk about whatever is on your mind this live Sunday edition. The number is 855-450-3733, or you can call in on Skype. There, the username is lrn.fm. You'll have to send a user request, but we make it pretty fast and pretty easy. We also have our Discord chat. You can actually call in from there, and just go to discord.freetalklive.com. discord.freetalklive.com. Let's go right back to the phones. We've got Jet calling in from the Great Northwest. I think you're familiar with that, Chris. Jet,
Just
you're
a
on Free
little
Talk
bit.
Live.
Yeah, hi guys.
What's on your mind?
I think you list the last segment with something about thinking.
I'm not sure.
Anyway, I just wanted to pass on. I want you somehow, you guys, to employ this this key to nullifying government gangs.
Okay.
And I want to say, first of all, that the concept of human government is really a psyop. It's a psychological operation.
Yep.
It's something that manipulates the mind through brainwashing, and it's essentially fantasy.
Right.
But,
authority is your imagination.
So I have two rules and three questions that we need to employ on a regular basis to help, spread this word, or at least how to nullify governments. Rule number one: never use the term government.
Okay. What do we say?
Or
I
any
say the
collective
state
term.
a lot.
I do too.
Yes, or the state, because it sounds too legitimate. We have to use derogatory terms. You know how you're talking about how people in war would demonize the other side?
Yep.
Sure.
Well, this is what you have to do. You have to call them gangs. You have to call them mafia. And then secondly, within that same rule, or simply use their personal names. You humanize these people. You say who did what. You don't say the FBI did this or the government did that. You define who did what bad thing and why it's bad. Now, there are three questions that typically we can ask people to get them to engage that brain. And number one is, what gives any one man the right to rule over any other? Next, what is law? And we know it's simply the opinion backed by a gun. And number three,
it's not just that. It's the written opinion of people that we consider to be liars and thieves.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what's really baffling here is that Americans and people around the world understand politicians to be liars and thieves, but then consider the law to be important. Well, this is just their random scribblings with the intention of benefiting themselves and punishing their enemies.
Yeah. So we know that it's an opinion, but then you can ask, who gets to make these rules? Is it you? Is it me? Because a lot of people will say, well, we need to have rules. We need to have just a country of law. We need to have, and I go, well, who needs to, who gets to make these rules? Anyway, so the two rules to nullify government is never to use the term government or state. That's something derogatory. And then personally define who is it that's causing the problem. In other words, treat them like humans. The whole idea, every regime has changed. Every country, every area has changed only when the people start seeing these other people who view themselves as a higher class as just other people, failed flesh and blood sinners. Once we bring it down to that level in the psychology, in other words, the psyop has to be countered with another psyop.
Yeah.
And that's the key.
Yeah, I see it. I kind of just break it down into education. I mean, so many people don't understand what evil government has wrought upon us. And not to say that government is all evil and they're
the government people. What evil the government people?
Well, yeah, and to his point, I mean, but people we have been brainwashed and only to think this certain way, and I see that slowly opening up a little bit. I think, in the last 10 years, I've seen more people start to talk about, well, hold on, why do we have to do this? But especially because government just continues to get more and more out of control. It continues to overstep and overreach, and it makes it much worse than it was.
It's not government, it's people.
Thank you.
It's people in places and positions. They're just other people.
Yeah.
And if you can get people to that level, that fundamental level, then they can start thinking and opening up their mind.
So how long does that take us?
It doesn't take very long if you just keep hammering it.
I think I agree with that, and we certainly hammer it here on Free Talk Live, and we appreciate when callers call in and hammer it too. I think
Jet's got a particular technique, and I think it's a good one if I can remember to do it.
Right.
But it's the difficulty is he'll call in again and remind us, I can assure you. Jet, thank you for the call. Appreciate it.
Yes, I will. Thank you. Bye-bye.
He's been pounding that pulpit for some time, and ultimately I think he's right.
Yeah.
That these people are just people. And people aren't good or bad. They're just motivated by incentives.
Right.
And when frankly, look at the incentives of government jobs.
Yeah.
Well, these aren't saints. They aren't different than us. They're the same as us. And if our incentives were messed up like that, then, well, that's how we'd be.
And that really is it. And that's an economics lesson, too, because people do respond to the motivations and the incentives that are in front of them, either positively or negatively. And we have a system that's basically designed around bad incentivism in government, in these people.
Sure. There's only one organization that can continually fail and get more money.
Right.
Government means you never have to say you're sorry. They just continue to fail and fail and fail at what they're supposed to do. And we just accept it for whatever reason. Just continue to write the checks.
And that's my real problem, because I was a staunch conservative and a real, I'm a very constitutional guy, and I want to see. But then you look at it and you go, okay, if these bad incentives keep reappearing, if you squash one, 5 others pop up, then is this a systemic problem? This is more than just we have the bad people and we need to vote them out. It's more than that. The problem is systemic, and I hate to say, I'm probably just more skeptical of serious change without some serious change. So
right, and there's no way to change the Constitution.
We were shy of revolution and things like that.
There is a way to change the Constitution. It's just it hasn't happened in my lifetime.
Oh, it has.
What? There's been an amendment?
There has been an amendment.
Since 1971?
Yes, when was the last one ratified? 1991, 92. It was the one that said that Congress could not vote themselves a pay raise. So Congress quickly came up with another way to
How do they do it now?
Themselves. I'll have to double check. That amendment was introduced by Madison, and it took until the 1990s before it was actually ratified.
Wow.
We'll Google that one and we'll provide some more details on it, but I'm pretty sure I'm right on that.
Oh, it says congressional pay raises will only take effect after the next election, is what it says.
There we go. So which amendment was that? 27th? Yeah.
But I don't know what the year is. I don't have that Googled right there. I want to read this story that came from Judge Napolitano that we attempted to read last night on the air, still attempting to read it tonight on the air, because once you bring up immigration, you don't get anywhere. So, LouRockwell.com, Judge Andrew Napolitano. Last weekend, President Donald Trump argued that those foreigners who enter the United States unlawfully should simply be taken to the border, escorted across it, and let go. According to the president, this would save precious government resources, avoid the business of separating children from their parents, and free up the Border Patrol and other federal agencies to do their job. He is undoubtedly correct on the benefit of the consequences to the government of forced deportation without due process, yet deportation without a trial is profoundly unconstitutional. The number is 855-450-3733. Want to find out more? I hope Napolitano is appointed to the Supreme Court by Donald Trump.
I hear you.
We'll see what he has to say to him. Free Talk Live.
she's such a beautiful little puppy. I mean, we walk around the block, and neighbors always say, her hair is so beautiful.
Healthy and shiny and glossy. DINOVITE.com.
Fatty acids, omega-3s, and omega-6s are great for healthy skin and soft, shiny coats.
I would really recommend people starting their puppies on Dynavite before they get into what I would call the misery index. Bad skin, bad ears, bad breath.
Because if they're getting all their vitamins, micronutrients, microbials from the beginning, then you're not going to run into the problems associated with the allergies,
grass, pollen, dust, dirt, fleas, ticks, you name it,
and the itching and shedding down the road.
Our vitamins and enzymes replace the nutrients cooked out of most commercial dog foods.
Dynavite for life.
This is Ed Lukasevic
and Cindy Lukasevic,
inviting you and your pets to Dynavite.
859-428-1000.
DINOVITE.com.
Imagine this is you. You're working late when you get an alert on your smartphone. Your motion-activated Blink security camera picked up something at home. You pop open the Blink app and see the silhouette of a man peering through your kitchen window. You dial 911 and the police roll. The job of a home security system is to help stop crime, which is why I chose Blink. Get 3 Blink cams for way less than the other guys, plus an extra 15% off. Visit blinkprotect.com/FTL. blinkprotect.com/FTL. Good technology is good, but the philosophy behind the tech is important. And Zencash was made by voluntarists with the ideas of voluntary interaction being embedded into the white paper. With no central authority or single point of failure, Zencash is more resilient than a traditional corporation. Everyone has an equal opportunity to participate in decision-making, which empowers stakeholders and makes Zencash less susceptible to third-party influence. And Zencash allows for secure private transactions. Learn more at zencash.com.
Why did you move to the Shire?
I moved here to the Shire because there's other people around who take liberty just as seriously as I do.
I moved to the Shire because I saw videos of people challenging authority and thought that I could get support myself. It called to me, like, do this right now.
I wanted to be around people like me who got it. And once I got here, I knew there was nowhere else that I wanted to be.
I've always wanted to change the world. So I moved to the Shire to join people who were actually working towards doing the same thing.
The people here are awesome, loving, and positive. It was for the adventure and for the feeling of something important is happening here. And I just wanted to come to sort of be part of that.
Visit ShireSociety.com to read and sign the Shire Society Declaration and learn the reasons why, if you love liberty, you should immigrate to the Shire. Plus, add yourself to the Shire map at ShireSociety.com. That's ShireSociety.com. If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com. You can get emailed announcements and participate in contests via our email updates list. Plus, we have a Twitter account that you can follow and a Facebook page where you can become a fan. So visit news.freetalklive.com to get news about Free Talk Live as soon as it's announced and the way you want it delivered at news.freetalklive.com. That's news.freetalklive.com.
In Survivor Max 2, School Bites, Max must scavenge through a wasteland swarming with the undead. Desperate to find the medicine he needs, he discovers a community of survivors at his former school. Has he finally found the safe haven he's been looking for, or will he discover that school bites? Look for Survivor Max on Facebook, read reviews on Amazon, and read Chapter 1 at survivormax.com.
What's up next? Visit the Liberty Radio Network program guide to find out at shows.lrn.fm. That's shows.lrn.fm.
Talk Live. It's the live Sunday edition. You can call in and talk about whatever's on your mind. It's Mark with you.
And Chris.
The number's 855-450-3733. It's 855-450-FREE. We will continue with the Judge Napolitano story about how Trump's plan or hope or desire is to simply taking families back and escorting them across the border and get him out of here is profoundly unconstitutional. But take your calls first. Let's go to David calling in on Skype. David, you're on Free Talk Live.
Yeah, calling from Albuquerque, New Mexico.
Right.
I was going to call in anyway, but the last caller you had is a perfect segue for what I wanted to talk about. You're talking about government and how we should hold them accountable in various different ways and name them. For instance, like the judges that trafficked my children. The original one was M. Monica Zamora in New Mexico. She trafficked my children. And the one currently trafficking my children is Judge John J. Romero Jr.
So this is a family court situation where you and your wife divorced, and you're not able to see your children.
Yeah, exactly. And I brought the names of those judges up only because that's one technique that I use to do what your previous caller suggested. I believe his name is Jeff. Was that correct?
Jet.
And Jet. Okay. And so that's one thing. And another thing to do. Oh, first of all, and also I wanted to call today, because tomorrow, just to make sure I get a call in. Tomorrow is the 11th anniversary of the last day that I saw my children.
So
when I said goodbye to them.
Let me ask you this:
Yeah.
There are judges currently working on this case, and when you say, "I want to see my children," what do they say?
I haven't said that for a while, because when I do say that, I want to say it with some legal force behind it. They know that I want to. The case is open and ongoing, and the dispute is the children, meaning I want my children, and
you want your children, but you want to see them too, right?
Right. Exactly. I'm answering your question.
I'm just curious. I mean, how does a person say to somebody, I'm going to have to just make sure that you don't see your children for another year? So 12, I mean, I presume they weren't all 0 when they left you. So these kids are now practically adults. I mean, they're biological adults.
Exactly. The instrument, the mechanism, to answer your question directly, the instrument that's being used and has been from day one, basically, is a judge's order of no contact between myself and my children. And then that order has stood from moment one for 11 years till now. That order was written on July 5 of 2007. And this entire time has been fighting to remove that order of no contact. And then the next logical question is, well, why is there an order of no contact?
That's my question, yeah.
Right. Right. And I had talked to you about this previously. The reason
but my listeners haven't heard it.
Right. The reason for this order of no contact was that we had an NGO, a not-for-profit or community organization, of which we're all familiar nowadays. It's quite an industry. This one's name is the Neutral Corner, and inappropriately named. It's a not-so-neutral corner. It is a subsidiary of YDI, Youth Development Incorporated, in New Mexico. And this is an organization where however they get their funding, they collect some money from the people that use it, but not enough to run the operation. So they're getting money from elsewhere. What they're in the business supposedly of doing, as the name might suggest,
right? They provide a place where families can meet up and see each other and these sorts of things. It's supposed to be, if one spouse is a bad person or whatever, and then that way they can't, I don't know, have crack needles lying around or whatever the case may be.
Right. Yeah. At that supposed neutral corner, the staff is, last I checked, parents are often they're one male and one female.
Yep.
However, the staff at this neutral corner was one male and 6 or 7 women.
Okay.
And also neutral wise, I don't know what the demographic of New Mexico is. It's probably the most brown state in the nation, but there was a supermajority of non-white. So there was one male, I'm male, there was a supermajority of non-white in that staff of 6 or 7 women and 1 man.
Okay.
And I'm white. The male they hired was also black, and he was very he was not very masculine. I'm not saying he was gay, but he was not very traditional.
So
Yeah.
what did these ladies and guy say regarding you that makes it so you can't see your children?
Or what was the
What they
allegation?
did, and okay, the word allegation. There were no formal.
It's not a legal allegation. What did they say?
There were. I'm going to tell you. There were allegations and insinuations.
Okay.
In other words, there were allegations made, like Mr. Olson took a toy car from his son and put it out of sight. So that's the allegation, which, what is that? That's nothing. But the insinuation was that I was abusing my son by taking a car away from him that he was playing with, or I'm sorry, I didn't even take it away from him. When he was distracted, I removed the car from his vision and put it behind a piece of furniture in hopes that he would not rediscover it, because he was being distracted by this toy in the context of a 1 or 2 hour visit that I was having with him, which was the only time I was going to see him for a week.
Sure.
And I was previously the full-time stay-at-home parent, and when I was forced to only see him.
So I got one more minute here, David. I've just got some questions. As far as this goes, the judge decided that there would be a no contact order because you removed a car from your son's immediate vicinity?
Line of sight.
Yes, that and other insinuations. That was one of them. What these women did at this.
But was that the most egregious of them? Was it a car and an axe murder? I mean, which?
No. Let me give you the most egregious one, and then whatever time remains, I can give you other ones if you're interested. The most egregious one was that the reason that I was being forced to only see my children in the supervised exchange and then visitation thing was because my 3 different things. My kid had stubbed his toe because I let him go barefoot in the backyard, and he had a flap of skin and had bled from it because he stubbed his toe. He had a chipped tooth, which I never saw him chip, and nobody saw him chip, but it was attributed to that somehow I was careless because my toddler running around the house, and I hear music. So the most egregious one was when I was changing their diapers at the visitation place, and when I sat down on the floor to change their diapers, my male parts were being pinched by my trousers, and so I adjusted my male parts. And they
those
wrote a letter
male parts. 855-450-3733. Free Talk Live.
If you like alkaline water, or know someone that does, you're going to love the Dillon Living Water Bottle. It creates alkaline water on the go while reducing plastic waste and saving you money. Made with surgical-grade stainless steel, the Dillon bottle increases the pH up to 9 to deliver both alkaline and antioxidant water anywhere you want it. Alkaline water is healthier, tastes better, and can even boost energy. The Dillon bottle makes it easy and affordable to be healthy and achieve optimal hydration. Get your Dillon bottle today at byln.co. That's byln.co.
Looking for that edge during those intimate moments? We see many ads for enhancement, but the side effects include death. At GCN Team, we should change the Healthy Body, Brain, and Heart Pack to the Healthy Libido Pack. The brain and heart are not the only organs that require a healthy vascular system. For proper blood flow at the right moment, go to GCNteam.com or call 877-878-4203. That's 877-878-4203. That's 877-878-4203.
So the protection of life, liberty, and property is what the Free State Project is all about. But it's an effort to move 20,000 people who understand.
It's about demonstrating to the entire country
that, yeah, we can have a free market, a truly free market.
Making it just a freer, great place to live.
It's the world's largest voluntarist libertarian community, and it's only getting bigger.
That's amazing, to be able to move to a place where other people passionately believe in being free and independent.
What the Free State Project is managing to do, though, is to put their money where their mouth is. It's physically getting up across the country and saying, let's go someplace and let's demonstrate the power of these ideas. There's a lot of kind of philosophy that surrounds liberty. There's a lot of thinking about it and talking about it. But here in New Hampshire, people are doing it.
101 Reasons Liberty Lives in New Hampshire, a documentary by Free State Project Early Movers. Watch it free at 101reasonsfilm.com. 101reasonsfilm.com.
I love My Magic Mud. I drink a lot of coffee. I had stains on my teeth. Then I found My Magic Mud, and I was told it would remove stains. So I paid attention when I brushed the first time. My Magic Mud is black tooth powder, and the difference it made in my teeth in one application was noticeable. With 4, my teeth were as white as you normal folks out there. Please go to mymagicmud.com and buy a jar. There's 150 applications for $25. You can use Bitcoin, mymagicmud.com.
Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get 1 free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
Never, ever send a follow-up email asking, "Did you get my email?" Email 101. If it didn't bounce back undeliverable, it got where you sent it. And avoid transmedia pestering, like calling to ask, "Did you get my email?" or emailing to say, "I left you a voicemail." If your emails and voicemails aren't being acknowledged, your problem isn't technology, it's technique. Is your message concise and understandable? Have you boiled it down to seem as relevant as possible to the recipient? In other words, is it the opposite of spam or junk mail? All of this really matters if you're a job seeker. But even if you're not, with money and attention so scarce now, effective communication skills have never been more important. For more tips, hit survivalspeech.com. I'm Holland Cook.
If you enjoy LRN.FM, please contribute to your favorite shows via their websites and become an amplifier at amp.lrn.fm. That's amp.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live. Are we live on the air? I don't know what happened there. The number, 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Expecting some audio. Maybe something's happened here on our side. I couldn't tell you. Well, we either are or we aren't, so do a show.
That's a spirit.
Indeed. So I've got this article here from LouRockwell.com where Judge Andrew Napolitano is talking about the unconstitutionality of Donald Trump's plan, hope, desire to deport all the families coming across the border. Everybody who's coming across the border, just take them to the border and send them back. Right. And he says this is profoundly unconstitutional. Here's the backstory. The nation's been torn apart by the images of immigrant children. Some of these are babies being forcibly separated from their parents by U.S. immigration authorities who are getting orders from the Trump administration, which has misread federal law so as to require the separation. The government has essentially taken the position. By the way, this has been a reversal on this, but this the case may be. Right. And there's talk of some of these kids that are separated or be given psychotropic drugs. They don't even know where their families are. There's all kinds of accusations out there. The government has essentially taken the position that those physically present in the U.S. illegally have few constitutional rights, and thus family members who arrive together can be separated no matter the psychological or physical consequences. This forced separation is not novel to the Trump administration, and it has been tried in previous administrations. Right. But its massive scale in the present toxic national political environment has painfully brought it to our collective conscience.
And what he's referring to there, folks, if you're not familiar with this, is that this was also done under Obama. This was also done under George Bush II.
Yeah.
Right?
43.
I don't know if it was done under Clinton.
No, I couldn't tell you.
Yeah.
He's got plenty of his own stories that
but at least for the last couple administrations, this has sometimes been policy.
Yep.
But not to this level.
It's absolutely true. It says here, after a tidal wave of public opinion against the practice finally resonated in the White House, President Trump signed an executive order last week that permitted, but did not require, immigration authorities to reunite the children and their parents. Then, in a wake of slow reunification, some of the children had been sent from Texas to New York while the parents were kept in Texas. The president uttered his exasperation regarding due process. If he had asked his lawyers first, he would have learned that there was no legal basis for this official antipathy to due process. The president took an oath to preserve and protect and defend the Constitution. The Fifth Amendment to the Constitution provides in relevant part that no person shall be deprived of life, liberty, or property without due process of law.
Oh, there must be more to that.
It doesn't say no citizen.
Well, there must be a whole list of things that you must meet before you're allowed due process. No. Due process is due process, people. And for those of you, and particularly conservatives, who sit there and go, the hell with the due process, and in one instance they will say that there's no need to follow the Constitution on this one issue, while on the other hand espousing the Constitution as the greatest thing that this planet has ever seen, and what we have to respect and honor and support our troops and the Constitution. You can't do it both ways. And let me tell you, if you're going to be a strict constitutionalist, you're going to get into some real sticky wickets. That's why we have weird, strange, and difficult decisions that make their way to the Supreme Court.
Indeed. It's, when you have things like no person shall be deprived of life, liberty, or property without due process of law, that puts the government in a difficult position.
Yeah, and another thing, and this is just me sort of griping, but I've always felt, and this is after my many years of government indoctrination, when I think about what is America and what is good about America, if I were to say that, it is that we do sort of have this, a nation of laws and not of men, and we respect that, and arguably we would put that first. If that's the case, then we should be extending constitutional protections to anybody who we come in contact with. We acknowledge that you are entitled, even if you're not a U.S. citizen.
Even if you're not a U.S. citizen.
The right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Even if you're a Canadian who came over here, we should still extend you all those same constitutional protections. You should get a trial if you were charged with a crime, and that everything in the 4th, 5th, and 6th Amendment should apply to you. That's just good. But somehow it doesn't when you crossed a border that you weren't supposed to and you didn't tell us first. It baffles me.
Because the Supreme Court has ruled there are no word choice errors in the Constitution, and the words of its text mean what they say, the framers must have carefully and intentionally chosen to protect every person, not just every citizen. That's pretty powerful. Person in this context has been interpreted to mean any human being on American controlled soil against whom the American government is proceeding irrespective of how that person got there.
And no, I did not read ahead.
The protection is so profound and universally understood that when the George W. Bush administration rounded up what it thought were collaborators, enablers, supporters, and relatives of the 9/11 murderers, whom it thought were here unlawfully, it recognized their due process rights and afforded them trials before deportation. The government actually lost many of those cases, and innocents were not deported. Just because the government thinks you might have done something,
right?
I suppose it's possible that there are people right now who cannot speak English hiking, American citizens, who cannot speak English hiking in the wilderness of Arizona and New Mexico,
right?
And should those people be put on trial as illegal immigrants? I don't know, but at the very least, they deserve that trial.
Right.
That's the claim.
And that's how we determine whether people are guilty or not. I mean, Jesus, this is U.S. Constitution 101, and it's not that Trump is the first one or will be the only one who's ever had a serious misunderstanding of what this means, but this is basics. This is basics, and you have to respect it.
Going on here, hundreds of books and law review articles have been written about due process. Hundreds have, absolutely, maybe thousands. Here are the addressing procedural due process, which has 3 components. The first is notice. The person against whom the government is proceeding is entitled to a written statement specifically articulating his alleged wrongful behavior sufficiently prior to a trial. Once notice is given, the government is hard-pressed to alter the charges. That means you can't be brought to trial and they just change a bunch of things around on you. Oh, well, we said it was jaywalking, but turns out it's second-degree murder.
Right.
That's that's going to be difficult. I was here to defend myself against jaywalking. I don't know what you're talking about. So that's important. And remember, the reason that we have this English common law system as it exists is because mistakes were made. They were made for centuries, for millennia prior to this. People received bad trials. If you want innocent people to go free, then we need this due process situation.
Yeah.
Just because it's inconvenient.
Right.
Too bad. We need it.
It's meant to be inconvenient. It's supposed to be inconvenient. It's supposed to be difficult. It's supposed to allow to you, if you are charged by the government, every possible way to prove your innocence. Otherwise, what happens in other countries that don't have this? Go to jail, and if you can prove that you are innocent, then we'll talk about letting you out.
Yeah, good luck. 855-450-3733. It's 855-450-FREE. Going on with Andrew Napolitano next.
Does your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy? Come to Dynavite for help.
Order a 90-day supply of Dynavite.
Dynavite is nutrition.
Pick up 2 bottles of Lico Chops. Get the 3rd bottle free.
New improved Lico Chops with omega-3, omega-6, vitamin E.
And now, 6 extra direct-fed microbials.
Even better for the digestive tract and immune system.
Try Lico Chops. Buy 2, get 1 free.
At Dynavite.com.
DINOVITE.com.
Cryptocurrencies are successful because of good technology. The liberty-loving voluntarists who founded Zencash in 2017 took the best tech, like zero-knowledge anonymity and decentralized autonomous organizations, and are creating a secure platform for money, messages, and media that can be sent to anyone, anywhere in the world. Zencash is a cryptocurrency dedicated to peace, anonymity, and decentralization. Find out more at Zencash.com. That's Zencash.com.
This is Dan Pilla. Do you owe the IRS money you can't pay? Are tax debts crippling you? I've defended people from the IRS for over 30 years. I've helped thousands, and I can help you too. I wrote the book on IRS settlement, and I'm telling you, there's no such thing as a hopeless case. Call 800-34-NO-TAX to finally get free of IRS debt. With the IRS's new programs, there's never been a better time to solve your problem. Call 800-34-NO-TAX. That's 800-34-NO-TAX, or my website, danpilla.com.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Slingbow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug-out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of Slingbow, a new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
Free Talk Live.
We're talking about the immigration situation here in this country. Now, Jeff, you have a 5-point plan. I'd like for you to go over the 5 points again.
Oh, sure. Hold on. I just got to turn to the page.
That's fine. And if you, he's got pages worth of
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Number 1, close the borders. Put up a barrier on the border. And I mean a barrier.
Like a Great Wall?
Yeah, a Great Wall, barrier, stone wall.
Right.
I mean, something that's secure, and then you put a moat underneath.
Holy crap! Alligators in the moat.
All right, now you've got more though, right? We got a wall and a moat, and then what?
You can put sensors on there. The motion detectors.
Motion tracking machine guns too. Spit out some 50 cals at them if it moves.
Ninjas. That's what we need. We just need ninjas mounted at 10-foot intervals along this wall. The border ninjas.
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern, live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
Here's a chance to do a little activism while you're cruising Facebook, Twitter, or Google+. Between the LOL cats, the recipes, the hot girls, and the inspirational sunrise memes, Free Talk Live's posts pass by your newsfeed. Like them, comment. It gives us more exposure. If you don't see our posts, click like at facebook.freetalklive.com and then hover over it to click Get Notifications. It's an easy way to spread the ideas of liberty a bit further. I know you're busy, but you can spare that 1/10 of a calorie it takes to click on something. facebook.freetalklive.com.
So you've signed the Shire Society Declaration and are planning your move to New Hampshire to be around more liberty-oriented people. Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum.shiresociety.com.
Join the LRN.FM Discord for live chat 24/7 at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live. The number 855-450-3733. It's 855-450-FREE. It's Mark with you.
And Chris.
Coming to you live on this Sunday edition of Free Talk Live. I want to tell you about my Blink home security system. I think this thing's great. It's really easy to set up. You do not have to be some kind of technical mastermind to figure this out. I know because I'm not, and I did. You just plug this little receiver thing into your router, and the cameras hook up relatively easily with the app. It's simple, and you can have, in my case, I've got 3 cameras. You can have multiple cameras, mini cameras, and you can look at right on your phone. You could check in right now. I could go look and see what's happening at my house, watch my dog lay down in her dog bed, or whatever it is that's going on. And also, I get alerts when I have it set for times, right? So I don't want to, be getting my wife just wandering around the living room or whatever. But I have it set for certain times, and I'll get notifications when that goes off. Bing. I can check on it, see what's going on, and take care of it from there. I could even be upstairs at my house. Check them out. It's blinkprotect.com/FTL. That /FTL will get you the great rate of 3 cameras for a lot less than the other guys will charge you for that kind of setup. Plus, you get an extra 15% off. Blinkprotect.com/FTL. It's blinkprotect.com/FTL. Going on with Judge Napolitano and his thoughts regarding Donald Trump, and he says here, the second component of due process is the requirement, because we had just previously said the first component was notice. You have to be told. Second component is the requirement of the government to prove its charges against the person to whom it is given a notice before a neutral judicial official. Now, we don't have that. You can't have a state prosecutor paid by the government and a judge paid by the government, and you tell me that these people are neutral. That's not how this works.
Yeah, and they also are incentivized. I mean, that's the other thing that you cannot ignore, that you can look at a prosecutor and maybe he's an assistant DA. Boy, I'd sure like to be a DA. Well, then maybe if I can increase the number of convictions I have. This case is really close, though, Mark. Maybe I won't get it. Maybe I can just hold back a little evidence. And we have cases of that where prosecutors and people in the court system have done things for personal gain, and that's not a fair system.
Let's not forget the plea bargaining system that exists in America.
Completely
plea bargaining,
outside of that, right.
This is dismantling justice before it starts.
Right.
Everybody can get a trial, but if you take that trial, guilty or innocent,
Yeah.
If you take that trial, we're going to sentence you to 10 times as much as this offer right here. Would you like door number 1, or do you want to gamble on door number 2? Oh, don't forget that, far more than 99% of people who are charged are convicted in our system.
Right.
We're that efficient.
Yeah.
Here in America, nobody is charged who's not guilty, because how else? Either that or you have a corrupt system, ladies and gentlemen.
Right.
One of the two is true. If 15% of the people that are charged are innocent, and that's what statistically is most likely to be the case, if 15% of them that are charged are innocent, then what you have is a miscarriage of justice if 99% of the people charged never make it to trial.
Right. It's a sham, and it's a disgrace, and I'd love to see the practice just go away. But unfortunately, when we start asking these types of questions about the law and about the Constitution, there are no easy answers. You can't just wave your magic wand and say, I don't like this anymore. It would be very complicated to dismantle, especially now that it's so ingrained in our system.
The third component of due process requires that the entire proceeding against the person be fair, and that it appears to be fair, and that the outcome be rational. The judge can decide whom to believe, but she cannot, for example, decide that 2 + 2 is 22, and that would be irrational. Fairness also includes the right to an appeal. So I think that fair is a very difficult thing to come up with, but again, there should be a farther separation from the judiciary and the executive, as far as I'm concerned, in these circumstances. The dangers of rejecting the plain meaning of the Constitution, person, and the dangers of taking a class of people and refusing to recognize their fundamental constitutional rights because of an immutable characteristic of birth, alienage, cannot be overstated. President Trump is my friend. This is Andrew Napolitano speaking. I like him dearly and wish him well and want him to succeed, but he is profoundly wrong here. He cannot lawfully or morally reject his oath to uphold the Constitution. Denying due process on the basis of alienage is tantamount to denying the personhood of undocumented foreigners as the U.S. once did to slaves and does today to babies in the womb. That denial is a slippery slope, at the bottom of which lie tyranny and misery. Former Supreme Court Justice Felix Frankfurter, I'm not familiar with Mr. Frankfurter, warned against the denial of due process when he remarked that the history of human liberty has largely been the history of observance of procedural safeguards by the government. I believe that to be true. The whole reason we thrive here and the reason others want to come here is that our Constitution guarantees respect for humans' personhood, which has spawned freedom and prosperity. If the due process guarantee were to go by the wayside, all other liberties would follow. That's reprinted with the author's permission. That's Andrew Napolitano there at LouRockwell.com. I think that this was a very brave thing for him to write, considering that he is, so we hear, on the table as a possible Supreme Court justice to fill in for Kennedy.
Yep.
And I hope that Trump takes this as constructive criticism, and Andrew Napolitano showing that he is a good judge.
Yeah, and I just I look at Jeff Sessions, I look at some of the things that come out of President Trump's mouth, and I just think, can we just have a Constitution 101 class? Just make it a requirement for, the executive branch let's do it for every employee. We'll start there.
That'd be great. I don't think that they see the Constitution the same way we do, though.
I know.
I mean, George Bush said it was just a GD piece of paper. So, and it is just a piece of paper.
That's a good point.
But it is the highest law in the land, supposedly, and we're supposed to have some kind of reverence for that. Let's go to Dana calling in from Michigan. Dana, you're on Free Talk Live.
Hi, I got disconnected, Mark.
You know what, Dana? That was my fault. I just want to apologize.
You said you apologized. Yeah. That's cool. That's cool. But, Mark, I called in. I just wanted to give some advice. But I want to say something. So there's a special place in hell for women who use their children as pawns, to get even with an ex-husband. So there's that, because for all the women out there that are doing it or have done it, little girls get their self-esteem from their fathers. You are going to screw up little girls, and little boys will not know how to be men if you don't let it. All you're doing is hurting the kids, not the dad.
Yeah.
That said, I really feel bad for this guy because so many incidentals, like little mishaps or missteps or misspoken things, are misinterpreted by these goofy panels that are assigned by the court, and it can just open up a whole new world of hell for these guys. And guys have been getting worked over by the court system since the beginning of time. Not that some of them aren't warranted, but a lot of them aren't. That being said, I do want to give some advice to that caller. He's called before. He's right. I heard him. He needs to get to the point really quick, because one thing judges don't have time for, or the court system, is they just don't have tolerance for people who just can't get on with it. And it makes him sound like he's grasping for the right words instead of just saying, this is what happened. So just get it out so you don't sound guilty.
Yeah,
and just
I think this is one thing that in some cases people who have really active and intelligent minds can deal with, is that run off on tangents, and it could be difficult for them because they want to give all the facts while moving forward. And in the case of court and frankly talk radio, you gotta nail it and get the message out there and go for it. I agree with you, Dana, 100%.
Okay, have a good night, guys.
Hey,
thanks for the call, Dana. Really appreciate it. The number is 855-450-3733. That's 855-450-FREE. A good talk show host would have made sure that little noise didn't come on the air, but that's my fault. I couldn't get the mouse to work. I couldn't see the cursor on the screen. Well, whatever the case may be. Ian, by the way, our main first chair host, is an incredibly good talk show host when it comes to, I guess, producer. He's a great producer. He's a bored monkey by trade, and really is good at it. Like his opinions or not, and I don't always, but he's really good at his job. And well, thank goodness for it. The number 855-450-3733. It's 855-450-FREE. But even he needs a night off.
Heart-related health problems affect millions of people each year. Maybe you're one of the many who suffer from issues related to angina pain, high blood pressure, congestive heart failure, unbalanced cholesterol, irregular heartbeat, or clogged arteries. There is a solution that doesn't involve expensive prescription drugs that only mask the problem and leave you with horrible side effects. If you are ready to live your life free of sickness, pain, and fear, live your life with increased vitality, energy, and youthfulness, and experience your body healing itself, then you're ready for Heart and Body Extract from Healthy Hearts Club. Here is what one satisfied customer had to say about Heart and Body Extract regarding his angina pain.
I haven't had an angina pain since I've been on it. The Heart Body Extract is just so great. I thank God that I was led to this product that's doing so much for me, and that can do so much for other people.
Call to order your 2-month supply of Heart and Body Extract today. Call 1-866-295-5305 or go to hbextract.com.
The new 4th edition of Healing Our World, The Compassion of Libertarianism, will take your understanding of liberty to a deeper level and has over 1,300 updated references, new cartoons, and a foreword by Dr. Ron Paul. With discounts for multiple book purchases, the 4th edition of Healing Our World is a great gift for the liberals, pragmatists, environmentalists, and Christians in your life who think libertarianism is cold-hearted. Get yours today at healing.freetalklive.com and use promo code FTL for a $5 discount. So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 3 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
Temporarily from the Libertarian National Convention in New Orleans, this is Darrell W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Sunday, July 1st, 2018. Silver is trading at $16.12 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,253 per ounce. Zencash is trading at $18, and the average price of Bitcoin is $6,566. Antiwar.com reports the U.S. military has formally ended a 70-year presence in the South Korean capital of Seoul on Friday with the opening of a new military headquarters further south in the city of Pyeongtaek. The U.S. had forces in Seoul since shortly after World War II. The new base is further south and therefore out of range of North Korean artillery. The relocation has been planned for some time, though the priority is clearly lessened with North Korea in talks to relocate its artillery and peace talks underway. Still, U.S. military brass are presenting the new base as proof of a long-term commitment to South Korea, a commitment that may not have any practical justification if the peace process is completed. The base costs $10.8 billion, and U.S. officials are emphasizing that the South Koreans paid 90% of that. Pyeongtaek is a port city on the western coast of South Korea. The new base, Camp Humphreys, is intended to accommodate 43,000 people by the end of 2022. South Korean officials have said that they are keen to keep a large U.S. military presence in their country, largely believing it is an economic boom for the host city.
Zencash is the world's first private, distributed, and reliable platform for communications, transactions, and publishing. Zencash has the ability to use both transparent and shielded transactions, with shielded transactions using zero-knowledge proofs. Zencash features global governance with inclusive decision-making, reliable funding for continuous improvements, and documentation and wallets in many languages that are available for Linux, Mac, Windows, and Android devices. Learn more at zencash.com. That's zencash.com.
UPI reports hundreds of marchers across the United States on Saturday drew thousands of protesters demanding the Trump administration reunite families separated at the U.S.-Mexico border. In cities from New York to Los Angeles and conservative strongholds across the Deep South, Families Belong Together rallies drew people from both sides of the issue to more than 700 marches scheduled throughout the country. Political and public outcry against the Trump administration's policies of separating parents from children upon arrest prompted the president to sign an executive order last week, saying parents and children would be kept together in detention. Administration officials have offered different explanations for how the policy would be implemented and how and when all approximately 2,300 children would be reunited with parents. Sunday's events were a call to President Trump to reunite the families immediately, cease family detention, and reverse the administration's zero-tolerance border crossing policy, according to organizers. A statement from Families Belong Together obtained by NBC News said parents should not be criminally prosecuted for doing what all parents do, which is to bring their children to safety. This horrible nightmare for families will end only when the Trump administration permanently stops his 100% prosecution policy. In New York City, about 30,000 people showed up for a march across the Brooklyn Bridge, chanting, "Immigrants built this bridge." Sweltering heat did not deter thousands gathered at the White House for one of the day's largest protests, which included many wearing white for the cause and carrying signs that read, "What's next? Concentration camps," and "I care. Do you?" in reference to a jacket First Lady Melania Trump recently wore on a trip to visit child migrants. Civil rights icon John Lewis of Georgia joined demonstrators in Atlanta and drew parallels between Saturday's protest and the anti-segregation rallies in the 1960s. Lewis said, "As a nation and a people, we can do better. Don't give up. Don't give in. Keep marching." During the rallies, the president tweeted about the current immigration laws, saying, "When people come into our country illegally, we must immediately escort them back without going through years of legal maneuvering. Our laws are the dumbest anywhere in the world. Republicans want strong borders and no crime. Dems want open borders and are weak on crime." Counter-protesters showed up at many rallies, including Washington, Phoenix, and Boston, and carried Trump flags and shouted, "Build that wall." In Alabama, one counter-protester was taken into custody after pulling a gun in Huntsville. No shots were fired and no injuries were reported, according to police. Police say the man pulled the gun when he got into a verbal confrontation with a protester.
You can support FPP Radio by joining the Fans program. Fans are friends, allies, and numerous supporters. You can join the Fans program for as little as $1 per month through Patreon and get perks like ad-free versions of FPP Radio News and Peace, Love, Liberty Radio. To learn more or to join the Fans program, visit fans.fppradio.com.
This has been FPP Radio News. Online at fppradio.com.
Hailing it as the industry's most innovative product to date, global cosmetics brand Maybelline released its long-awaited Ideal Woman Rubber Mask this week, a thick latex facial covering worn over the head in lieu of makeup.
By simply yanking it over your face, you can instantly achieve a fresh look that conforms to Western ideals of beauty. Essentially, you can just roll out of bed, stretch the latex urethane rubber beauty mask over your natural face, and boom, you're ready to start your day. Forget concealer, powder, blush, or mascara. Now you can achieve a look that adheres to the conventional standard of feminine perfection in seconds.
It's incredible. You immediately see the difference. The very first time I tried it on, my pores were minimized, my skin tone was more even, and all of the idiosyncratic little wrinkles, physical imperfections, and tiny irregularities that make my face unique were erased.
I don't spend a lot of time on makeup anyway, but now all I need to do is yank this thing over my head, and that's it. I'm conventionally attractive. I mean, this gives me so much more time to find an outfit that makes my body look thin and socially acceptable.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
Free Talk Live. It's the live Sunday edition. You can call in, talk about whatever you want. That's what we do here at Free Talk Live. We do bring in show prep, as you could imagine. I mean, we run a talk show after all. But call in, talk about whatever's on your mind. It's Mark with you.
And Chris.
The number is 855-450-3733. It's 855-450-FREE. Chris, it appears as though the National Security Agency, the NSA, has said that they weren't they're going to be very, very careful with whose information they got, and all this other stuff has swept up a whole bunch of information that has nothing to do with any research that they're doing or anything like that, and it's just wholesale cataloging of America's privacy.
Oh no, I remember what's his name,
Snowden.
Well, no, on the other side.
Okay. What was his name?
What was his name? I know who we're talking about.
One of these government liars.
But the NSA continues to call us up and basically say, no, we're only going to keep the most crucial information, things that we believe are tied within so many degrees of an actual terrorist or criminal activity, and that's it. Well, that really hasn't been what happened, apparently.
And by the way, if you thought that was going to happen, you're the kind of fool they're looking for.
Yes.
We didn't believe that for a second. If you give a government agency the ability to sweep up people's information, they're going to sweep up as much as they can, because that's what governments do. Every time, everywhere. They catalog information. Then they hire people to catalog more information. And then they hire more people to catalog more information. They love cataloging information. And if I'm not doing anything, what do I have to hide? Okay, you're a fool again. It doesn't matter whether or not I have anything to hide. It matters whether or not judges, captains of industry, politicians have anything to hide. Do you believe those people have things to hide? Things like mistresses, things like dirty dealing, things like offshore accounts. Do you believe that they have those things to hide? And if they do have those things to hide, not whether they'll be caught, but whether they'll be held for ransom by some rogue government official. And if you think that's the case, if you don't think that's the case, you're a fool. Right. Because that's what's going to happen. That's what's always happened.
Yeah.
That's politics, baby.
So for those of you who do believe that, you will find this headline incredulous. NSA deletes hundreds of millions of call records over privacy violations. Hundreds of millions. Apparently telecoms shared data from people unrelated to the NSA targets. The NSA,
what a surprise.
I know. The NSA, unfortunately, has a long history of violating privacy rules.
Like every time.
Exactly. Although this time, the agency might not be entirely to blame. The NSA is deleting hundreds of millions of calls and text message data records collected since 2015 after learning of, quote, technical irregularities, unquote, that led to it receiving records it was not supposed to obtain under the USA Freedom Act. Now, I will give you a clue. USA Freedom Act. Imagine the opposite of that.
Yeah, it has very little to do with freedom.
Nothing to do with freedom. General Counsel Glenn Gerstle told the New York Times in an interview that, quote, one or more, unquote, unnamed telecoms had responded to data requests for targets by sending logs that included not just the relevant data, but records for people who had been in contact with the targets. As it was, quote, infeasible to comb, I'm sorry to keep saying quote, but all these wiggle words just drive me nuts. To comb through all the data and find just the authorized data, the NSA decided to wipe everything.
Yeah, why not just,
right.
The whole thing.
The deletions began on May 23rd. It's not clear when the purge ends, but this is all metadata, not the content of calls and messages themselves.
Well, that makes me feel much better.
Right.
It's just metadata.
They're keeping the actual calls. They'll delete the metadata.
Just to be clear, what metadata is it's information about a call as opposed to the call itself. When it was made, where it was made, which cell towers it transferred to, all that information.
And it's pretty amazing. There's been a number of studies conducted by universities that have said, okay, well, let's take a look at metadata and see what I can discern. And one of them, I mean, I'm paraphrasing here, but it identified the person as like a 22-year-old male who lived in this country, had recently contracted AIDS, and had it was like every detail that you can imagine, critical detail about this person was gleaned simply from the use of metadata. That's what we can do now.
Really?
Yeah, I'll have to pull up some of those stories, and I'll bring one or two of them.
I've always wondered what this metadata, like why it's so valuable. I know that people make a big deal about it. I certainly wouldn't want my calls, tracked, but I figure they are.
Right.
And I just sort of live that way.
Right. But if you look at like certain things, so let's say it's a woman, and we see in her NSA collected data that she has recently made a purchase which matches exactly the price of a pregnancy kit at the local Rite Aid pharmacy, and then she also calls the number that is associated with Planned Parenthood, and it's not hard to discern from those two records that she found out she was pregnant, she had an abortion, for example. And you can extrapolate this stuff. What websites did she also hit? Did she, skip going to baby names and immediately start searching for other types of things? So these examples use web examples too, but it's amazing what can be pieced together with, and this is even...
Well, Google at one point said that they could predict the outbreak of the flu or colds in given geographic areas.
Sure.
And I don't know how they do it necessarily, but, they apparently could know a great deal. Obviously... You're pretty much voluntarily giving your information to Google. I mean, you've got one of these Google accounts. They're just gonna, they're gonna ride you, man. That's what it's all about. If you want to have a smartphone, it's either Apple or Google, and yuck,
Yeah, it's craziness.
I don't have any good advice as far as that goes.
The deletions we talked about that began on May 23rd. A spokesman also told the New York Times that it did not include location data, as the Freedom Act doesn't allow gathering that information under the collection system.
I suspect they don't need it.
The companies involved have, quote, addressed the cause of the problem for data going forward, the NSA said. While the step shows the NSA is willing to err on the side of caution, it continues a streak of privacy violations at the agency since its bulk phone data collection fell under the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act in 2004, or FISA. It also illustrates the problem with keeping such large-scale monitoring in check. System depends on both the NSA
a government program kept in check. Have these people never heard of what these government people do?
From the people that brought you the $900 hammer?
Right.
Yes.
From the $300 ashtray.
It depends on NSA and telecom strictly honoring the law, and all it takes is a mistake to create a serious privacy breach. This article, by the way, comes to us from Engadget. And I find it kind of fascinating, number one, that anybody still believes that their data is private. If you use a smartphone, if you use a telephone in any way, use the internet, use the computer, your data is not private. You would have to go through so many different hoops jump through to try to even protect it, to reduce the amount that very few people do. I try to look at accounts and see what they're doing and try to understand how my data could be compromised by that. But you also have to survive in today's world.
Right. So I use a VPN.
Right.
I log on to Facebook.
Right.
Through a VPN.
Right.
I use my Google account through a VPN. Right. I mean, come on.
Right.
I mean, that's not going to solve that problem.
If you quit using those accounts, then that's a start. But even then, the idea of your phone, the idea of the Bluetooth receiver that you use with your phone can still provide a pathway for the government to track you.
Yeah.
So sell everything, start over, and go off the grid. That's my best advice.
Well, I'm not going to do it. The number, 855-450-3733. Do you have good privacy tips? 855-450-FREE here on Free Talk Live's Live Sunday edition. What's more profitable, running your business or doing bookkeeping? Doing your business, of course, but you want to keep your books so that you can maximize your tax savings, right? What if I told you that there's a person that's a bookkeeper, accountant, and law school graduate that's also a hardcore libertarian?
My name is Melanie Johnson, and I hate the state. I will aggressively help you to minimize your tax exposure and maximize profits, all while staying within the law.
Melanie's your best choice for your taxes and bookkeeping needs. Go to tax.freetalklive.com and check out our website, tax.freetalklive.com.
The Bitcoin.com wallet is a simple and powerful full-featured wallet that allows you to send and receive Bitcoin, BTC, and Bitcoin Cash, BCH, with anyone, anywhere in the world. It supports both single and multi-signature wallets and is available in multiple languages. The Bitcoin.com wallet is available on Windows, Linux, Mac, Android, and iOS devices. Use the Bitcoin.com wallet to buy, send, store, and receive both Bitcoin, BTC, and Bitcoin Cash, BCH. Learn more at wallet.bitcoin.com. That's wallet.bitcoin.com.
From the first letter of Captain Mark. History is full of flowery documents claiming to limit the power of the crown, but these poetic social contracts have been impotent to prevent the predation. Limited government is a lie they use to keep us submissive. The crown cannot be trusted to abide by its founding charters, nor its treaties, nor even its own rules. The essence of the crown is centralized violence, and I've had enough. That's why I raised my black banner. I am no revolutionary. My aim is not to reset the cycle of violence, but to break it. My aim is an evolved society, invisible to the crown. Not a new hierarchy, but decentralized networks with no central figure for the crown to target. If you want your servile life, keep it, but we will not submit to the crown's agenda. And when you are ready to stop being its beast of burden, ready for adventure and opportunity, join us at pirateswithoutborders.com.
Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free, at apps.lrn.fm.
Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Cell 411 allows you to preset a group of friends or private organizations to show up at any emergency. Cell 411 is a nightmare for the state because it proves their so-called services aren't needed. Cell 411 has had thousands of installs, and of course it's covered by the BIPCOT no government license. Cell 411 because your friends won't shoot you when you're in trouble. Without the government, who would build the emergency services? You and Cell 411. Get it today at getcell411.com.
You're listening to the best liberty-oriented audio streamed around the clock, on the air, and online. This is the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
Talk Live. Really hitting the mark tonight. The number is 855-450-3733. It's 855-450-FREE. We just reported in the last segment how the NSA apparently is collecting more data than they're using and more data than they're supposed to collect. And I'm just floored. I couldn't believe it.
Right.
If you want some privacy in your transactions, I recommend Zencash. Zencash is one of these cryptocurrencies that are out there, and it's a good technology. I'm pretty excited about it. As a matter of fact, I bought quite a bit of Zencash recently upon hearing of a hack problem that they had. Look, the question isn't whether or not these technologies are going to be hacked. They're obviously going to be. The question is you're going to be able to buy high and sell low, or buy low and sell high, because it's easy to buy high and sell low. I've done it.
Yeah, I've nailed that one.
Yeah, I'm good at that. Zencash is made by voluntarists with the idea of voluntary interaction in play. They have they have no single central authority or a single point of failure. It's more resilient than traditional corporations. Everyone has an equal opportunity to participate in decision making, which empowers stakeholders and makes Zencash less susceptible to third-party influence. And they allow for secure private transactions, the kind of transactions that makes it much more difficult for people like the NSA to track. 12,000 secure nodes is more than even Bitcoin. Is it more than Bitcoin or more than Ethereum?
It would be 12,000 would be higher than Bitcoin. I'm pretty sure.
Check them out, zencash.com. It's zencash.com. And that brings me to an article that I've been wanting to read here on the air, which is from Cointelegraph, Myth-Busting, Why Bitcoin Can Never Go to Zero. Bitcoin's polarizing effect has people on both ends of the scale, either proclaiming it is going to the moon or it's going to zero.
Right.
Now, I had the guy who sold me my movie ticket a couple of weeks ago tell me Bitcoin's going down. Well, when you say it's going down, obviously anything that's worth something is going to go both up and down.
Right.
And it is currently going down against the U.S. dollar. It's kind of on a downtrend.
Right.
But it jumped up the last couple of days. So is it going up now? I mean, what does this mean when you say it's going down?
It's a question of time and scale, and I hear this a lot too. But Mark, you've been in Bitcoin for an awfully long time compared to a lot of people who may be listening, and you've been in it longer than I have. Matter of fact, not the first time, but one of the first times I actually heard an intelligent conversation about it was me listening to Free Talk Live years and years ago. But these cycles happen. I mean, there were people who jumped out when it spiked to what, $20 or $30,
Yeah.
and then it dropped back down to 10 or something like that.
Oh, it dropped down to 1.
Dropped down to 1. But there was that. There was the run up to 200 and then 200 to 1,000. Guess what? It fell back down to 200 and languished there for a couple years.
And then ran up to 19,000.
19,000.
And now it's down to 6,500 maybe?
Right, which is more. It's been in the 5s lately too.
Yeah.
But I guess my advice, and I get asked this a lot because I actually have a Bitcoin vending machine in my business. People come in to purchase it, so I talk a lot about crypto. But it's not for the faint of heart. It's not one of those things that, you know, you should put your whole nest egg into. It's speculative. And the speculation I have is, will enough other people see the world-changing opportunities that this presents versus traditional fiat currencies and all the evil that comes with national banks and the Federal Reserve systems and things like that? Will enough people see that they will say, you know what, I'm losing faith in my country's money and I want somewhere to turn? I think that's the real future of things like Bitcoin.
One would hope, but one thing's for sure, Bitcoin is a virtual commodity.
True.
That people trade day in and day out. It has value. That value's in the thousands of dollars.
Yep.
And has been significantly higher and significantly lower. Certainly possible that you bought in at 19,000, you got excited, and Free Talk Live used to recommend people buy Bitcoin. And it was the ups and downs that people complaining, I bought Bitcoin at $1,000 and it's down to 200. And we keep on saying things like hold, keep holding,
right?
Hold,
hodl.
Right, hodl as the terminology out there. With, you know, I don't know exactly, you know, like I don't think it's my like I know it's hard to keep holding. Sometimes you see this news, you're like, well, I'm going to get out and then I'm going to get back in, and you know,
right.
The reason that people say hold is because it's easier to hold than it is to trade.
Yeah, and I guarantee you, I've done better long term holding on to things in crypto than I ever did when I decide that I'm going to be the smartest kid on the block and I can show these people how to trade.
Somebody's making money trading.
Right. It's not me. I am not a chart genius. I cannot look and do technical analysis on a chart.
Best I can tell, the chart geniuses can't either.
Exactly.
I listened to a chart genius back when Bitcoin was going from that 1,000 to that 200, and I wasn't able to make any kind of money. In fact, quite the opposite. I hesitate to give you the kind of numbers that the Shire Free Church lost at that time.
Yeah.
Anyway, Bitcoin's polarizing effect have people on both ends of the scale, either proclaiming it's going to the moon or going to zero. The volatile, unprecedented, and revolutionary monetary system that is cryptocurrency has a future that not many can accurately predict. But as time has gone on, the idea that Bitcoin is going to zero seems more and more far-fetched. A number of commentators, just recently when Bitcoin was booming, have come forward with predictions of doom and gloom, warning investors that this new system of money and investment opportunities will fail to complete worthlessness. Bitcoin is barely 10 years old and has gone from being worth zero. Like every time Bitcoin's on a run.
Right.
Tulips. Beanie Babies. That's what they got, right? Like, look, I don't know how long Beanie Babies was a thing, but it wasn't 10 years. I don't know how long tulips were a thing, but it wasn't 10 years.
Yeah. There's some great articles about how the whole tulip frenzy wasn't really
is
the way
what they said it was. Yeah, there's that too. Bitcoin is barely 10 years old and has gone from being worth zero to being worth 20,000. So as we sit and we sit with the price lower than many other would have hoped, is it feasible to think we can reach as low as zero? What was Discord?
No, just people in Discord are interested in talking to us, so hopefully we can get to those when we come back.
There you go. The number, 855-450-3733. Free Talk Live.
Want revenge on the common housefly? Well, after 10,000 years, someone has finally come up with a better way. The Bug Assault, a miniaturized shotgun, which utilizes ordinary table salt as ammunition. Non-toxic and no batteries required. So much fun, you'll forget you have a wife and kids. $39.95 and free economy shipping. Use discount code GCN and get an extra 10% off your purchase at bugassault.com. Fire your fly swatter. Get your Bug Assault today.
Most of you know that heart disease is the #1 silent killer in the U.S. What if I told you for just $54.95 a month you could fight against heart disease naturally? At Heart and Body Extract, we've been helping thousands of people get back to a healthier heart. Don't just take my word for it. Check out all of the success stories at hbextract.com, or to order, call 866-295-5305. That's 866-295-5305. hbextract.com. Don't risk it when you can take charge of it.
I've been told no in many different ways.
I give you an order and you're going to obey it.
George, you can go this way.
You can't do that and you have to leave here.
You cannot bring signs into the rally.
Walk with me. Well, I'm comfortable here, actually. Whoa, hey, who do you think you are? Excuse me.
There is no video and audio allowed in this office.
No, I have work today.
You ain't gonna make it.
Wait a minute. Hey! Oh my God! Unbelievable! Why are you running from me? Because you scared me. What am I being detained for?
You're being served.
What is this?
You're being served.
What is this? Bureaucrats have a funny way of telling people no.
That's the sound of the men working on the chain.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com.
We've all heard about blockchain assets like Dogecoin, Ether, and Ripple. Bitcoin isn't the only player in the blockchain game any longer. And for those of us wondering how to get our hands on these digital assets, finally, there's a solution. Shapeshift.io allows you to buy and sell between your digital assets and Bitcoin instantly between your own digital wallets. I've used it with ease. Shapeshift.io. There's no account or email address needed. You send them the crypto you want to sell. They send back the crypto you want to buy. It's that easy. Shapeshift.io.
There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com.
Free Press Publications is an independent, alternative media and publishing company founded in June 2009 with the mission of ensuring a free press for the freedom movement and is committed to spreading the message of peace, freedom, love, and liberty. FPP also gives new authors an avenue for publishing freedom-oriented material. FPP brings you daily news and commentary on the website fpp.cc, as well as a daily 5-minute newscast, FPP Radio News, and weekly news, views, and commentary in the FPP Freedom Minute and Peace, Love, Liberty Radio at fppradio.com, and the monthly newspaper FPP News at news.fpp.cc. Find FPP online at fpp.cc. That's fpp.cc, as in Creative Commons.
Do you love Twitter? Make sure you favorite the LRN.FM Twitter account so you can receive our tweets at twitter.lrn.fm. That's twitter.lrn.fm.
Talk Live. It's the live Sunday edition. You can call in, talk about whatever's on your mind. It's Mark with you.
And Chris.
And, we'll be taking your calls here in just a second, but I want to talk about somebody I really respect in this business. A lot of libertarians got to know Tom Woods during the Ron Paul campaign of 2008. 2012.
I just assumed you were talking about me, but I like Tom Woods too.
Same here. Yep. Tom is a New York Times best-selling author, has written over a dozen books, including The Politically Incorrect Guide to American History. I have it. I was just going through my book collection this weekend.
One too. Yep,
and I've got that book. Since September 2013, Tom has been putting out The Tom Woods Show every single weekday. Nearly 1,200 episodes so far. Guests include Ron Paul, Judge Napolitano, David Stockman, and hundreds more. He does a much more, interview-based show than we do, and I think he does a great show. Topics like war, the Federal Reserve, net neutrality, the FDA, Austrian economics, and many other subjects of interest to libertarians. Find the Tom Woods Show online at tomwoods.com or search for Tom Woods Show in your favorite podcatcher. tomwoodshow.com. Excuse me, tomwoods.com. It's Tom Woods Show on your favorite podcatcher. Want to get that right. Obviously the guy's he's doing us a favor. We're doing an ad exchange here, and hopefully we're reaching his audience. He's reaching ours. I would think many people on our audience know what a great show Tom Woods does, but maybe they don't. Maybe they've never heard of him.
Yeah.
And
just a nice guy, too. I just really enjoy him. I met him for the first time at the Mises Institute years and years ago, but...
If you run a radio program, he's a great interview. You should get him.
Right.
If you are a radio listener, this might be your reason to do podcasting because he does such a great show. TomWoods.com. Let's go to Gene, the Christian anarchist, calling in on Discord. Christian anarchist, you're on Free Talk Live.
Hello, guys.
What's on your mind?
I wanted to talk about this cop in Texas, a police chief, who called a press conference. First of all, he'd gotten a lot of bad press, and a lot of people were doing YouTube videos and stuff of him and some of the corruption that's going on in his department, in his police department. And so he calls a press conference knowing that all these people are going to show up, and then he starts arresting everybody. He arrested several people at the press conference and then detained everyone else because they were witnesses. So
this guy's insane.
He is absolutely nuts. This is
now he's a what? Police chief or sheriff?
He's a police chief, and it's in
the sheriff should go find that police chief, and put him in cuffs and throw him in jail.
They should. This is in Leon Valley, Texas, and the story on it is on freethoughtproject.org or .com.
Hey, Gene,
and,
I'm glad to hear that because we had a caller call in about this situation and could find zero mainstream media news about it. Nothing at all. Couldn't find it anywhere. Finally found like one place that had it, and I'm glad to see it's breaking out into at least more well-known alternative media.
Yeah, he was claiming that everybody there was a witness to the crime of streaming. Basically, he's saying that the YouTube accounts where they're streaming live is a violation of the law because people on are making comments on the YouTube streaming channel that they're claiming are threats to the police or exposing their addresses or personal information or whatever. So now if somebody comments on your YouTube channel, they're saying that you can be arrested for that. So this is the next step in the control of the internet, where they're trying to say that, if you post something and there's violence that's posted along with it, even if you didn't do it, all of a sudden somehow they're trying to blame you for that. And this is what they're doing in China right now. And so we're really following a bad example in following China's lead down this rabbit hole, which is going to destroy free speech in this country. What free speech we have left, because we really don't.
There is quite a bit of evidence that the government would like to hold you responsible for comments that are made on your website. Well, you gave a platform for free speech and somebody misused it, so, well, we're going to have to put you in jail. What? That's crazy. But then you think about situations where Ross Ulbricht was charged with running the Silk Road. Now, I think there's some extraneous situations in his case, but it's no doubt he was charged with running the Silk Road, and one might ask the question, I mean, if you're charged with running an online marketplace, what control do you have of what people sell.
Right.
Now, in his case, it's pretty clear that he may have listed some magic mushrooms on the site earlier, but he got sentenced for something far more than the sale of magic mushrooms. I can assure you of that.
And along that lines, there's the Kim.com case in New Zealand.
Yep.
Where he was raided and all this
by the United States government in New Zealand.
Right, and he's never even visited the United States. He's never he never stepped foot on this continent. And they arrested him based on a warrant from the U.S. And now the New Zealand courts have all ruled that it was all a mistake. They shouldn't have done it. It was, the New Zealand government is liable. Right now, Kim.com is suing them. He's going to get a ton of money over all this. But that's because it's happening in New Zealand. If he was trying to do that here, he would never succeed.
Well,
so New Zealand, in that regard, is ahead of us.
New Zealand shows up as it's shown up more than once as #1 on lists of more socially free places.
Yep.
I don't like the way that their economic freedoms, as far as it goes, but frankly, I think that they're higher than the United States on those lists too, which puts America. Sorry, it was a good run. You were the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Right.
You may very well still be the home of the brave, but you are not the land of the free.
And by many, many measures, whether it's civil...
Well, you've got to be the freest place to be able to claim that you're home of the free.
Oh, yeah. But what does free mean when you're doing some sort of paper like that? So is it economic freedom? Is it civil liberties?
They don't show up at the top of any of them.
No, we don't.
Press freedom, none of it.
We're number 18. We're number 18. Yeah, it just doesn't have the same ring to it.
No, it doesn't.
And as far as Kim.com, you can take on a lot of things in America, but when you threaten Hollywood money... Yeah, then the federal government is going to go after you, which just amazes me.
Even
this
if you're
is what it's all
around
about.
The planet
right, because we need our royalties.
Right, and all that, I don't know what Kim.com was advocating for, but basically all he had was a situation where you could upload large files and turn them over to people. I used Dropbox, which, and I used, what was Kim.com's called? Free Upload or... Mega Upload is
Mega's the new one.
Mega's the new one. The
Mega
old one.
Upload, right? But Hollywood finds out that some people are sharing Hollywood movies on there, and they realize they're not getting paid for it. So Hollywood, this is where crony capitalism comes into play. Kids make some calls to some people they know in Washington, and all of a sudden, the U.S. is serving warrants on a guy in a foreign country who has never been a U.S. citizen.
Using your tax dollars to do it.
Using your tax dollars,
put a raid on his house.
Yeah.
With your tax dollars to support Hollywood's intellectual property laws. What?
Yeah.
I mean, these people don't have enough money for this. They should be paying for that. If that's what it's going down to, let them deal with it.
Don't tell the Hollywood types or the FBI, but I do copy DVDs all the time, and I have absolutely no regret about it. I don't feel that I'm breaking anybody's, I'm not busting any balls by copying a DVD. For one thing, I go to the movies all the time. It costs us $40-$50 to go to a movie.
Yeah,
I buy some DVDs when I want to, but for the little bit of time that I copy a DVD, they're not losing any money. First of all, I wasn't going to buy it to begin with, so they're not losing a penny.
Especially after watching it. Now I'm definitely not going to buy it.
The number is 855-450-3733. Gene, the Christian Anarchist, thanks for giving us a call. 855-450-FREE. You're on Free Talk Live. What's more profitable, running your business or doing bookkeeping? Doing your business, of course, but you want to keep your books so that you can maximize your tax savings, right? What if I told you that there's a person that's a bookkeeper, accountant, and law school graduate that's also a hardcore libertarian?
My name is Melanie Johnson, and I hate the state. I will aggressively help you to minimize your tax exposure and maximize profits, all while staying within the law.
Melanie's your best choice for your taxes and bookkeeping needs. Go to tax.freetalklive.com and check out our website, tax.freetalklive.com.
The Bitcoin.com wallet is a simple and powerful, full-featured wallet that allows you to send and receive Bitcoin, BTC, and Bitcoin Cash, BCH, with anyone, anywhere in the world. It supports both single and multi-signature wallets and is available in multiple languages. The Bitcoin.com wallet is available on Windows, Linux, Mac, Android, and iOS devices. Use the Bitcoin.com wallet to buy, send, store, and receive both Bitcoin, BTC, and Bitcoin Cash, BCH. Learn more at wallet.bitcoin.com. That's wallet.bitcoin.com.
I tried other brands, but I came back to my Sunshine.
For the best hot or cold pain relief, get the best. Get a Sunny Bay heating pad.
Sometimes life can be a pain in the neck, or back, or shoulder.
And the best relief for that pain is a Sunny Bay heating pad. Did you know that the American College of Physicians said that one of the best ways to treat muscle pain is heat therapy? Sunny Bay heating pads are handmade with high quality, can be used at home or at work, and have a lifetime 100% positive rating on both Amazon and Etsy.
Why take another pill?
Many people use our Sunny Bay heating pads alone and got rid of the neck pain.
Long-distance travel or long hours in front of a computer can take its toll on your body.
Our homegrown small business tries to help people just like us. That's why we design and test our handmade products with great care before we introduce them to the public. You can easily find Sunny Bay heating pads on Amazon. Just go to Amazon.com and search for Sunny Bay heating pads.
On Free Talk Live, we're bringing people to the ideas of liberty every day. From wrestling superstars like Glenn Jacobs.
You guys really are having an impact, I believe. Like I said, a lot of where I am now is due to listening to Free Talk Live. You changed my mind on some very important issues years ago.
To random people tuning in on the radio.
I was kind of stuck in the left-right paradigm. I heard your show by chance on a Saturday night. From there, I went on, joined the Free State Project, and become an amplifier. So, I mean, that's really the reason why I amp is because I know that if it wasn't for you guys being on as many stations as you are, I never would have found the ideas of liberty.
Your amp will directly change more lives by getting Free Talk Live in front of people looking for talk radio online and on the air. When you amp Free Talk Live, you get perks like access to the AMP-only Facebook group and AMP podcast. Visit amp.freetalklive.com. LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
When you hear the word lobbyist, you probably think about greedy corporations, but not all lobbyists are the same. Some are fighting for the freedoms you hold dear. Liberty Lobby LLC is doing just that in New Hampshire, working hard to represent you, not some special interest group. You can help by going to libertylobby.info, where your contribution will give us the tools we need to ensure that your voice is heard. Visit libertylobby.info today to find out more.
You can put the Liberty Radio Network on the air in your area. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how. Broadcast.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. It's the final segment of the Sunday show. It's Mark with you.
And Chris.
I want to tell you real quick about MyPillow. I love MyPillow. That's the brand name. It's great. It holds your head and neck in the right position. More importantly, it allows you to launder the pillow, which was something I could never do with a pillow prior to MyPillow. And that means that you can get the disgusting filth, the living cesspool that is your pillow, clean. MyPillow.com, promo code FTL. That will get you 2 MyPillow premium pillows for one low price, and you get free shipping on all orders when you use promo code FTL. If you don't like it, you have 60 days to return it for a full refund. No risk. MyPillow.com, promo code FTL. Let's go to Roland calling in from Auburn, New York. Roland, you're on Free Talk Live. What's on your mind?
Yes, Mark and Chris, I always enjoy listening to you guys. It suddenly hit me that I think it was Mark that said it's supposed to be a free country, anybody can come in, and I've heard that argument. And I'm not necessarily saying I agree or I disagree with it, but I'm always thinking of the opposite or something in contrast of that. I could say, well, how free are the people who have the country? How free are they if they can't determine who does come in and who doesn't? In other words, if you turn it completely around, you could say, well, the Mexican people are freer because they've determined that anybody just can't cross our border into their country. And boy, I guess it gets really bad if Americans illegally get caught across the border in Mexico.
Horse crap. I know Americans who are illegally in Mexico right now. You know what it costs to fix that problem? $50.
Really? You mean, in other words, they pay off the cops?
No, they pay a fine, and then everything's fixed. The fine for being illegal.
I thought the Mexicans were really bad to them, or
I think the Mexicans. I've heard that the Mexicans are really bad to Central Americans that they find in Mexico.
Interesting.
But Americans themselves, I mean, why in the world? What lunatic would go, throwing Americans in jail for living in Mexico, not working a job, spending money?
Right.
No, I mean that's please come do that.
Right, and I think the difference may be, I mean, if people are in that situation, they're not there because they're criminals. You know what I mean? It's very different, and they're not there because they're trying to get on the welfare state in Mexico. They are just there, but what if they're illegal?
Yeah, I was over at a friend's house who lives in Mexico. She, by the way, hangs off of the same cliffs that the cliff divers jump off. You saw them in the Elvis movies back in the day.
Right.
These gorgeous cliffs. For $1,200 a month, a 2-bedroom, 2-bath apartment hanging off of these cliffs. I saw a cruise ship go by. I saw a whale breach. I was within, shooting distance of John Wayne's house.
Right.
John Wayne is dead, but his house lives on. Other people own it now. And, this great opportunity these people have because they can make money over the internet.
Where was this?
Acapulco.
Really?
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
Huh. Well, the only thing I could say is, that I think that there is some sense behind the fact that a country isn't really a country if it doesn't have borders, and a lot of countries, they all have borders, and the people in the country should be able to freely determine in that sense.
I have heard that over and over again, but I have yet to find in history a country that actually had secure borders, besides like North Korea and East Germany and things like that.
But even
Berlin.
Even then.
What about Canada? They just don't let anybody just come across.
Canada,
and I used to
there are immigrants running across the border from Vermont into Canada, and the Canadians are letting them in right now.
I got to say, I think of it as this.
That's interesting.
A border is a characteristic of a state. That's what a border is. If you have a government, a central government, you have an organized state, then one of those features you're always going to have is going to be a border.
Sure.
What that government decides to do with that border is going to be up to that government. And, if you say that people have a ability to control it, I can control who comes onto my land by force. But can I say that, hey, I'm really okay with Scandinavian swimsuit models coming to the U.S.? Can I weigh in with that?
I'm for that.
Well, you're with me on that?
I'm down.
Will that carry any weight? The answer is no. We are distantly represented, and supposedly our feelings are supposed to be included when
Chris, you grew
these
up
things happen.
In Washington State.
Oregon.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So not a border.
Yeah, I thought it was a border state. I was just thinking that maybe, like Canada has a border, but does it really have a border if you can go across it and nobody checks?
It's
because that happens all the time.
Yeah.
And I've snuck into Canada illegally. Right. What do you want from me?
Not a challenge.
Big deal. And then you come back, and if a country doesn't have control of its borders, then what, Roland? People wander in and spend money and then leave. That's what the answer is.
And people tend to forget what happened for the first, 150 years of our country, where we had porous borders. They weren't defended. They weren't protected. You could have walked across from Canada. You could have taken a horse up from Mexico.
The border down in Mexico was porous until the 60s.
Right.
When a guy who lost the Vietnam War, or the 70s actually, when a guy who lost the Vietnam War as a general took it over and began making a very regimented and efficient organization out of the Customs and Border Patrol, which was not much at that point.
Yeah.
It was like every other government agency, you know, a crappy alternative to something out of the marketplace.
Right.
So... yeah, I mean, you know, we've got borders on a map. We'll be fine. Thanks for the call, Roland. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. Take care, guys.
Take care.
Call Dan here, calling in from Nebraska. Dan, you're on Free Talk Live.
Thank you. I think, honestly, like, you know, immigration is a question I have a hard time really deciding where I stand on it.
Yeah.
But one thing I think about, like, the no trials is that I had a likeness argument to this, which is almost sort of it's better that, you know, 9 guilty men go free or whatever than 1 man die for the death penalty. That kind of innocence.
Right.
I kind of think it'd be better that, you know, 9 or 10 illegals get a stay in the country if it means that one United States citizen doesn't actually get sent to Mexico without, you know, because, you know, there's a lot of people in the United States who just look vaguely Hispanic enough to just get picked up and draw back over.
There's been a couple of situations where American citizens have been sent over. In one case, it was a person who had Down syndrome. You know, that gets difficult. It's hairy, right?
Right.
So it's rare.
Sure. I'm not even Hispanic, but I could be easily confused for Hispanic, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm.
You're that dark, that black hair, brown skin that could be anything from Arab to Spanish to you know, some kind of Asian. Yeah, that's it's a look, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Basically.
And I appreciate what you're saying there, and that's the thing. I mean, again, it goes back to Judge Andrew Napolitano's letter on Lou Rockwell that we talked about earlier, the article on Lou Rockwell. You know, are we a nation that still respects the Constitution or not? And
Dan, thanks for the call.
Yeah, appreciate it. And again, this is something that drives me nuts with people that I will label conservative, is you can't have it both ways. You can't profess one thing and advocate the exact opposite.
Right. So, again, my policy is let anybody who wants to come into this country come into this country. They never get to vote. They can never take any kind of government assistance. And I mean all the way. No government assistance at all. And look, that's just intended to be a compromise, because I think that many of them would take it, because many of them are hardworking. And when your country, this country that's defined by borders or whatever, when your country misses out on these hard workers, these are the hard workers that built this country in the first place. And they did it in the face of all kinds of discrimination all previously. Your grandmothers and grandfathers, great-grandmothers, great-grandfathers, they dealt with discrimination based on their race. And that's fine. It's the way it is. But don't be so hard and fast on it. Understand that you could be wrong. That these people who are here speaking a funny language, eating funny food, could very well grow into really great Americans. And the best way to do that, welcome them with open arms and teach them.
That's akin to where my thought is on this, and that instead of Border Patrol and armed guards chasing down people in the desert,
it's incredibly expensive.
How about just a few welcome centers? Just you know, this great little. It's got room outside for your kids to play while you go inside.
Get a TB test
and see what exactly, do all that stuff while we, you know, double check our employment databases and see where we need farm workers, where we need hotel maids.
The evidence is that people who want jobs when there aren't jobs leave. That's the evidence. That's it. It's another Free Talk Live in the can.
Have fun.
Yeah, drive safe out there, folks, and treat people well. That's my best advice to you. Go to freetalklive.com.
The Free State Project has reached its goal of 20,000 liberty lovers who've pledged to move to New Hampshire and get active to achieve liberty in our lifetime. Perhaps you're trying to figure out what part of New Hampshire should be your destination. If so, consider Keene. You'll find more than 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com. Keene is famous for its historic, publicity-generating activism, as well as being the liberty media capital of the world. It's home to freekeene.com, New Hampshire's destination for liberty activism, news, and opinion. For years, we've been compiling over 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com, where you'll learn about some of what's happening here and what makes Keene a great place to live. If you love liberty, you'll probably enjoy anywhere you end up in the Shire. But do your due diligence first. Please visit move.freekeene.com for the full list of over 150 reasons to move to Keene. That's move.freekeene.com.
Hi, this is Mark Edge of Free Talk Live. Michael W. Dean's book, User's Manual for the Human Experience, changed my life. In a culture that attempts to turn you into a compliant victim, this book gives you implementable steps on everything from how to be aware of your environment, walking down the street, to business, to how to handle a toxic person in your life. If you're a human, you need to read this book at least once. Go to Amazon and get the Kindle version, or paperback, or an audiobook of A User's Manual for the Human Experience. The three most important things you can do for Free Talk Live are: 1, share one episode a week on Facebook or in some other social networking site. 2, buy the things you buy online through shop.freetalklive.com. 3, give $5 a month to the AMP program. It's my firm belief that Free Talk Live's AMP program is the best use of your charitable dollar among liberty-oriented organizations. Support all the organizations you love, but make sure you give $5 a month to AMP at amp.freetalklive.com.
This is the Liberty Radio Network, broadcasting the latest liberty-oriented audio content 24 hours a day at LRN.FM.
The easiest thing in the world for a reader to do is to stop reading, according to the late, great Barney Kilgore, who became managing editor of the Wall Street Journal in 1941 and grew the paper's circulation from 33,000 to 1 million by the 60s. And he'd be pleased to know that his paper is one of the few that people now pay to read online. Someone else pre-internet who realized that attention is fragile? Motown Records founder Berry Gordy. In the early 60s, when his label dominated the charts,